She's also the chairman, Joint District Society. And I can tell you, she has also been blessed to be our keynote speaker for this morning. No other person than the Deputy Vice President of our great institute. Please make it loud for Dr. Mrs. Titilayo Enito for welcome, FCTI. I am calling the president. Oh, now president are they call. Oh. Okay, so that I can get my dinner perfectly. Up sweet. Up sweet. That's just it. Thank you very much. The representative of President, please, we can have a seat. Also to join her on the I table, it gives me great pleasure to welcome the man I refer to as the celebrant of today. The man I will always call the number one chairman who directs other chairmen of activities to do. I'm talking of the chairman of Ikeja and District Society. Make it loud for our chairman, Mr. Abiodun Agbola, okay, FCTR. So to join them on the I table, we have a member of the governing council of our great institutes. He's also a past chairman of this wonderful district. And today, he will be chairing the session. Please make it loud for my own brother, Mr. Funsho Abidakon, FCTR. Permit me to recognize and bring to the I table our facilitators for today. One of them is already seated, wearing 3 caps today. And I have other people that will be. It gives me great pleasure to recognize the Deputy Director and Head of Tax Audit, Large Tax Office, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Agidingbi, our own Dr. Ajayi Adeboju. Thank you very much, sir. For people that might not be part of these districts and is wondering why I give a lot of accolades to this district, you go to some district in a program like this, it will all be men affairs. But here we are able to have a balance because we are gender sensitive, so that the sweet will not deny us our dinner when we get home. And it gives me great pleasure also, as one of the speakers for today, our own sweet Vice Chairperson, Dr. Annie Obayo, ably represented by Mr. Olusegun Fashakin. Please a round of applause for him as he can. On this note, with the permission of the 17th president of our great institute, we hereby call this Tax Week seminar to order. May I humbly request that we be upstanding as we take the national anthem and the CITN anthem. Technical, please.
God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed.
The CITN anthem.
We all put integrity and service with God on our side. We shall attain the dreams of our founding fathers to achieve a tax-driven economy. CITN, CITN, Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, promoting tax compliance culture. CITN is soaring higher. CITN, CITN, Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, promoting tax compliance culture. CITN is soaring higher.
Thank you very much. Please, let's have a seat. Once again, I want to welcome us all to the 2025 Annual Tax Week of our noble district, the District of the Extension, Ikeja, and District Society of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, holding this day, the 28th day of the month of August, at the Tax Practice, Professional House here at Ikeja. Permit me at this juncture to quickly establish the protocol for the program of today. It gives me great honor to recognize the 17th president of our great institute, Mr. Innocent Oagwa, ably represented by the deputy vice president of our institute. Please put the hands together for Dr. Titilayo Enitan for work on FCTR. Also very much present here in our midst is the chairman of Ikeja and District Society of our institute. Please put it together for Mr. Abiodun Oke, FCTR. It also gives us great privilege and honor to have in our midst a member of the governing council of our great institute and also a past chairman here. Put it together for Mr. Funsho Abidakon, FCTR. Permit me to recognize the speakers for today. And we have the Deputy Director, Head of Tax Audit, Lagos Tax Office of the FIRS, Ms. Dr. Ajayi Adepoju, FCTI. Please a round of applause for him. The representative of the National Vice Chairperson of Suites, our second speaker. Please put it together from Mr. Olusesan Fashakin. Please a round of applause for him. We also are very much present here, members of the body of past chairmen of our noble district, the pillars upon which the current chairman writes on to make sure that we progress as a district. Let me recognize our past chairman, our own Barrister Shola Ibalajobi, FCTR. We also are very much present here, our own barrister Austin Ilo, FCTI. Let me also recognize the man saddled with the responsibility putting together this annual tax week. It's been activities in the last 2 days. We've visited some places. We've actually projected our institute in a very big way. And I want to recognize him and his team, the chairman of the annual tax week for our district, Mr. Peter Adebayo, FCTI. Permit me, because of want of time, the chairman has not been working alone. He has some lieutenant that has been working with him. And that's why you can see our district progressing every day. Everywhere we go, we show them the way. At this note, may I humbly request all the executive committee members, from the vice chairman to the ex-official, please be upstanding for recognition. I will not take that clap for my executive member. Make it loud for them. They've done excellently well, and they are projecting our district in a very powerful way. Thank you very much for the good work you are doing. We have the representative of the registrar chief executive, the first female registrar of our great institute, Mrs. Afolake Osho, ably represented by the deputy registrar. Please make it loud for Mr. Waid Ganil, FCTR. Deputy registrar is not here alone, because he's a man I know. He does not like walking alone. And he looks around. He will not look for a man to follow him. It must definitely be a suite, so that you can be guaranteed that your dinner is sure. Make it loud for our Director of Internal Service, Mrs. Ronke Ojo, ACTR. All my professional colleagues that are very much present here are members of Ikeja and District Society, that you belong to this district of the extension. You see, there are 2 districts in CIT. I don't want to know if there are some people are here and they are hearing, but the only thing I know is that there are 2 district society, Ikeja and that you are a member of that district. Put your hands together and celebrate yourself. I am the owner of the mic. I can say it the way I want. When they have the mic, they can try. But definitely, we have established it first, that we are the district of the extension. That you're a proud member of that district. Celebrate yourself once again. And I want to appreciate the chairman of the district and the chairman of the planning committee for giving me this privilege to anchor this program. I remain your own, Olusesan Okunade, FCTI, popularly called MC Easy. It will be easy for every one of us by God's grace. That's just it. On that note, we are moving straight to the next program of activity. And it gives me great honor to invite the chairman of the Annual Tax Week Committee. Please put it together for Mr. Peter Adebayo, FCTI, as he gives his address. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I celebrate everybody here. My MC, you have really challenged me. Let me make that correction officially, professionally. It may be very surprising. The man is still carrying his ACTI, but rest assured that it's long overdue. Thank you once again. I present my welcome address as the chairman of CITN Ikeja and District Society Annual Tax Week Planning Committee, delivered today, day 3, which is the grand finale of CITN Ikeja and District Annual Tax Week, year 2025 edition, held from 26th of August to 28th of August at the headquarters, Tax Professional House, the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, Jobifele Way, Alausa, Ikeja, Lagos. I prepared this address with the mindset that some people are going to be here, so please permit me. The Executive Governor of Lagos State, His Excellency, Mr. Olushola Sanwo-Olu, ably represented by the Special Advisor to Lagos State Government on Taxation and Revenue, Mr. Ogunbo Abdul Kabir Odeyemi, the 17th President of our great institute, Mr. Innocent C. Ohagwa, ably represented by our mother, who is carrying so many caps today, the Vice President, Dr. Mrs. Titi Fuokon, FCTI, the Vice President, Deputy Vice President, the District Chairman, Mr. Abiodun Oke, FCTI, members of the ESCO, all council members, past and present, the registrar, our esteemed speakers, distinguished professional colleagues, valued participants, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Annual Tax Week Planning and Organizing Committee, in conjunction with the Executive Committee of the CITN, Ikeja, and District Society, under the able leadership of and chairmanship of Mr. Abiodun Oke, FCTI, I am highly delighted and honored to welcome you all to this seminar in my capacity with privilege as the chairman of Annual Tax Week Committee, saddled with the responsibility of putting this all-important 3-day Annual Tax Week together. Today, we gather to share knowledge, exchange ideas, explore this very important topic, rebuilding the economy through tax and fiscal policy reforms. This program is aimed at enhancing the preparedness of tax professionals, tax administrators, taxpayers, and all stakeholders across diverse sectors of Nigeria's economy towards the implementation of the newly signed tax laws as our carefully chosen, seasoned speakers dissect the provisions of the new tax laws. With great joy in my heart and utmost delight, we appreciate your presence and massive contributions to the success of this Annual Tax Week, year 2025 edition, which began on Tuesday, 26 August, with a walkout across the capital city of Ikeja, and is coming to an end today, 28 August, with the technical session, the reason why we are having an hybrid gathering this morning. I want to sincerely appreciate all our members, our elders, including our past chairmen, for their most invaluable support towards this program, some of who turned up on Tuesday as we had a very exciting and successful day one walkout around the city of Ikeja. We took off as planned from Olowu Junction with the able assistance of the LASMA officials who all demonstrated their most invaluable support all through the highly successful walkout. We walked to FIRS Agidingbi, where we were warmly received by top-level senior executives and officials of the service. We then moved to LRS Revenue House with a similar experience of amicable welcome by the Director of Tax Audit, who joyfully received us, proudly associated with us as a member of CITN Ikeja District, and later addressed us on behalf of the Executive Chairman and the entire body of LRS. We ultimately took our walkout to the Tax Professional House here, where we were heroically and joyfully welcomed to our own professional home and domain by our distinguished registrar and the entire management team. They too saw us making a visit to an orphanage home in GRA Ikeja, where the director of the home expressed genuine and sincere gratitude to the team of CITN Ikeja and District, ably led by our chairman, Mr. Abiodun Oke, FCA. We also used the occasion to showcase our commitment towards corporate social responsibility by presenting a variety of gift items to the orphanage, which include a bag of rice, detergents, toilet soaps, cartons of Indomie noodles, biscuits, and toilet rolls, among others. Day 1 and 2 of this Annual Tax Week were simply remarkable for us, with absolutely exciting experience. Undoubtedly, distinguished colleagues, the week has been fascinating, quite captivating, and very scintillating. And by God's grace, today's technical sessions, which will feature experts and eminent speakers, carefully considered, both from practice and administration, with engaging discussions and valuable insights, will be overwhelmingly successful and remarkable in all ramifications. Participants can also take advantage of networking opportunities, as this technical session provides a platform for knowledge sharing, intellectual enlightenment, networking, professional bonding, and imminent collaboration. It is my firm belief that together with great commitment to real patriotism, we can rebuild our nation through through continuous intellectual discourse and relentless enlightenment across diverse sectors and platforms. I therefore welcome you all to this all-important technical session, where we will explore the carefully chosen topic and gain valuable insights, as well as productive and enriching experience. I encourage active participation, questions, and constructive comments as considered imperative and relevant. Let us therefore remain together to make this seminar a huge success, with our renewed collective commitment to make Nigeria a better place for us all. While I congratulate all of us on behalf of the district chairman, Mr. Abiodun, FCTI, the district ESCO, and the annual tax week planning committee members under my privileged, humble chairmanship, with deepest appreciation for the confidence reposed in me, I want to say a big thank you for joining us and joyfully participating in this highly successful, auspicious program. God bless you all. God bless CITN, Ikeja and District Society. God bless our great institute, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Peter Adebayo remains my name, the chairman of the planning committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the chairman of the Annual Tax Week Planning Committee, for that welcome address. We are progressing on it, and we want to have the keynote address from the 17th president of our great institute. Please, let's make welcome the representative of the president, our deputy vice president, Dr. Mrs. Titilayo Enitan, for welcome from the president's address. Please, a round of applause to her.
Thank you. Good morning, distinguished professional colleagues. I'm happy to be in your midst. I think protocol has been established, but I will just try to still recognize a few people. The president is actually, he sent his apology. He's currently in Abuja. We have so many other things going on. Even it's because Ikeja is a pride for us that I'm here. I'm supposed to be in Jos. So, so we also have Jos district doing their 10th year anniversary and week. So I had to step that down to do this and then join them thereafter. So on behalf of the president, the 17th president and the ESCO, I want to say the apology. They are all there. I'm the only one around now. I will just take a brief remark on behalf of the president and then go into the keynote speech. The district chairman, Ikeja and District Society. Okay, thanks. The district chairman, Ikeja and District Society, Mr. Abiodun, FCTI. The ESCOs, vice chairman, the deputy vice, and other ESCOs. Apologies. Where's Mr. Abidako? Okay. So, and let me just recognize him in absentia. That's a council member, Mr. Abidako, and also a past chairman of the district. It gives me great pleasure to stand on behalf of the president this morning to address us. I think when the MC was talking, he talked about Ikeja being Ikeja and others. Is that what you said? Okay, maybe when I have another district here, we can see whether that will be repeated. Because I know another district that says their own district and others. So by virtue of assuming the role of JDS chairman, I have a view of all the districts. So I will test that as we go along. And we are going to come up with a test of that and others and see whether there's real and others. I don't know. But I would like to say that I'm happy to stand before you, talking on behalf of the president. We can see what is happening in the districts. We are happy the way the districts are going. And one of the things that we stand for in this administration is to see how our districts can fly high. And I believe that Ikeja district is on that pedestal. So I want to say, don't relax, because there are other districts running after you. And for your information, we're already looking at the districts that are actually running and those that are coming behind. And we'll surely communicate this as time goes on. I want to wish us a very fruitful deliberation in this seminar as we engage. The topic that have been chosen, rebuilding the economy through tax and fiscal policy reform, is very timely. CITN have been doing a lot of series on this, and I know that will continue. What we stand for is the quality of our members. And I promise you that the current president is looking out to be sure that when they call CITN members and they say taxation, people say, yes, they have it. And that's what we look up to. And I wish you a very, very, very good and fruitful tax week. Thank you very much.
Please put it together better way for Mr. President, who has just given us the keynote address. Thank you very much, Ma. You can see why we are District of Distinction. She had to just make it all the way from Kuru. I know our last conversation. She's no longer a Lagosian. We have actually wheeled her to the Kuru. I'm sure by now you'll be talking Rankadede and the likes. Yoruba will not be too fluent in her mouth again until when we bring her back. But because we are so important, she had to just make everything humanly possible to join us today. Please, another round of applause for Dr. Fawakon. So on this note, we've had the president speak. We want to go straight to the major reason why we are here. And the theme of the discourse is rebuilding the economy through tax and fiscal policy reform. My work here will be so minimal because we have chairman of session. I'll be committing the time. You know, at this point, when you have chairman of session, it's sweet for me to do. I won't interface with the speaker, but I will give him the time that I want him to do. So you put him under pressure to put the speaker under pressure so that we can all leave here on time. So I will not come to the speaker, except if he invites me that, please, you can send me the work, because I know we are all busy men and women that we must attend to one or two things for today. And the chairman of session is no other person than member of the governing council of our own institute and the past chairman of this district, Mr. Funsho Abidakon. Please, a round of applause for him, please.
The district of distinction, thank you very much. Let me, for want of time, let me stand on existing protocol so that we can actually go to the main reason for us to be here today. The president, my senior council member, at all time, I remember in 2021, you ushered me into council. You were the one that made the presentation of my paper that time, and you challenged me that I should come on board. That time I was not yet in council. I took up the gauntlet and I tried, and the effort yielded results. And here I am today. I am challenging you, my Ikeja members, that the sky is never the limit. That our sister there that we were able to bring here today is a wonderful person. So In 2021, it took me, it took me 3 months before I could get him to come and make this presentation. I don't know the numbers of months that has taken you to bring him here today. You are welcome. So, thank you very much. There is no other time to have a discussion like this other than now for tax professional. Among all the, I'm not condemning the rest of the professional in the economy, but tax profession, there is no other time that we should gather together like this and be discussing matters of this nature. So the topic that you want to examine, they are very, very germane. And I want you to be a better person than you when you come here, and when you compare it to the time you are living, you should be a better person, and you should be able to challenge even those people that are members that are not able to be here today. Rebuilding the economy through tax and fiscal policy reform. We all know tax is now the cash cow of the economy. Forget about the oil that is there. We don't even know the quantity. But tax, once you start from January, we are already counting December. Immediately you cross the bar of December and you say Happy New Year, you are already in another tax regime. You want to collect another money and so on and so forth. So these two topics were selected, very well selected, and the experts that are available to come and show what they know how to do best. All what we need to do is to give them the best attention here today, and so that we can be happy that we come here to come and enrich our frontal of knowledge. And this is what the CITN is standing for. We want to continue to make our members relevant, because we are to educate the rest of the business community in anything relating to tax and fiscal policy in the economy. So I thank you very much for coming, and just say enjoy the rest of the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the chairman of session, and we are going straight to the discuss. Our lead paper presenter is the woman I called the other time, and I want to crave your indulgence, ma. I know we have other appointments to catch up with. I won't be able to roll the full citation of who you are. The last time I read it in a program, it actually took me about 17 hours. People were already on their way home, and they called me back that, are you sure that people will be here? So I don't want them to leave by the time I finish. So let me get the abridged one, and permit me, can you be upstanding so that I give that to you? So the lead paper presenter for this morning is no other person than Dr. Titi Layo Eniton for Walker. She's a chartered accountant, a tax practitioner with both tax practice and industrial experience. She was the group head of the strategic tax compliance for Dangote before she actually stepped to join the big league in Kuru. The prior taking up the career in March, she was a senior executive of the 47 at the Institute. Before joining Dangote, she was a group tax head for Wando Group, and also worked with Akintola Deloitte. She's a seasoned professional, if you ask me, a discussant of high repute, members of several professional bodies from ICANN to ANAN to AFA to Chartered Institute of Forensic and Certified Fraud Investigator. She's a fraud examiner. She's in SICA. Name it, doctor of great repute. She has served the Institute in core value. She has served the suite, and currently she is the Deputy Vice President of our great institute. One thing you can't take away from her, she's the mentor par excellence that has groomed a lot of people that you can ever talk of. A successful career woman, a tax enthusiastic, an educationist, an accountant par excellence, a fraud examiner, governance practitioner, internal control specialist, and tax professional of great repute. I'm speaking of no other person than our own, the Deputy Vice President of our great institute. Please put it together for Dr. Titi Layo Eniton for Walker FCTI as she makes. Women talking and paying tax. Well, now own get the mic so I can do it.
Thank you very much. MCZ, thank you for that. I'm here again. Let me just stand by the existing protocol. You know, I always tell people that when you start standing on the protocol, you might just break the protocol. So why don't you just stand by it? And I want to say something. I think I joined the senior executive course in March. And what I've just gotten there is that everything I thought I know, they've removed it from my brain. They formatted my brain. So I'll be talking from the policy angle. So when you hear me say as shown on the screen is what we say there. So it's our language. But I'll try as much as possible to be at our level. I want to appreciate this opportunity to be in your midst. In fact, when I was called that I'm going to have to present at this week, I said, how will I grow wings to fly to Lagos to be at the week? And I want to appreciate Mrs. Kensington. So dogged, refused to accept no for an answer. And she kept on pushing, when are you going to be around? And I told her I'll have a window in August. In fact, as I'm standing here, just and district, they've been calling, and I told them they should allow me to just finish with this. So I'll be with them tomorrow for their own investiture of the new chairman. So it gives me great privilege to be in front of you. I want to begin by appreciating the leadership of Ikeja and District Society for inviting me to share my thoughts. In fact, like one of my training in NIPS is that I shouldn't shake my hand. I should do like this. So let me learn that. So you have to stand, and we don't hold mic anyway. We have the mic standing. So I'll try not to be moving my hand. Say we should learn to be strategic. So for the invitation to share my thoughts with this professional and intellectual assemblage on this tax week team, rebuilding the economy through tax and fiscal policy reforms. We all know what has been happening. It's not new to us. CITN as an institute has stood out. I think we've done so many series. MCZ done a lot of series on the new tax act, and more to come. And a lot of things are going to come out of that, of the 4 acts, that will require us to train and retrain ourselves, that will require us to unlearn what we know. If when we ask our children about the current affairs.
Sorry, I have to interject, my sister. Can we please put our phones on silence? Please, so that we'll have minimal interference as the program progresses. Thanks for understanding. Thank you.
Thank you. So a lot has been happening, and a lot more will happen. I was telling someone, I said, being away from the tax environment for some time, that I hope I will fit in, because I used to know Companies Income Tax Act before I left. I used to know Capital Gains Tax Act, but now they say there's nothing like that. So maybe I'll come to all of you to teach me again and reorientate me. So that's what the new reform has done for us. So as the Deputy Vice President and Chairman of Joint District Society, I'm delighted and impressed to witness the vibrancy and dynamism of this district. I must commend the foresight of its leadership in convening such a timely and technical session for members of the district, especially at the moment when CITN is doing so much to help demystify the provisions of the new tax laws to guide members and indeed all Nigerians in navigating the far-reaching waves of tax and fiscal reform. Distinguished professional colleagues, at the face value, the topic appears to be narrow. However, in its entirety, it combines several components of the Reform Act and agenda, any of which on its own is sufficient to take a whole day. However, in the keynote speech that I'll be giving or leading the paper this morning, I've tried to summarize critical components so that we get a clearer picture of what will happen come 1st of January 2026. That's going to be an historical change in the life of Nigerian tax landscape. Setting the context, why does this tax and fiscal policy reform matter? It's instructive to know that the quest for economic transformation in Nigeria has reached an inflection point. With decades of dependence on oil rent, raising debt vulnerabilities, and the proliferation of multiple taxation regimes, the imperative for comprehensive fiscal and tax reform has never been greater. This is the time it has to happen. For proper context, fiscal reforms refer to systematic changes in structures and processes governing how a government raises revenue and allocates public expenditures. These reforms are critical for ensuring economic sustainability, accountability, and improved service delivery. In Nigeria, tax and fiscal policy became necessary because of the following reasons. Multiplicity of taxes and levies. All of us complain about this. Too many taxes to pay. Moving from Lagos to Ibadan, you see so many stops. Or you go to the east, what you do, but this became a concern. Low tax to GDP, approximately 10% compared to other African countries. Informal economy is untaxed. They're not there yet, and they contribute 65% of the GDP. Complex and old tax legislation. When you talk about a tax that had been enacted in 1960, whatever, and it's not been reviewed, these are right time, except for the pockets of amendments that are done. And I believe that from 2019, we started to see a change in the way tax regimes are reviewed. If you take the Stamp Duty Act, some of those charges are very ridiculous, 50 naira. So we need to look at that. Weak economic diversification. There's a lot of things that are happening in the economy, and the only sustainable revenue for government is tax. Whatever it is, because people will earn, people will work, businesses would also earn profits from which tax be paid. Then ease of doing business environment and others as shown on the screen. The Nigerian Tax Reform Act in perspective. We all know that on the 26th of June, 2025, something happened. And what happened? You can tell me. We have the birth of 4 tax acts. Nigerian Tax Act, Nigerian Tax Administration Act, Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Act, the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act, and they are all the acts coming out of the tax reform. They overhaul the Nigerian tax landscape. They change what we know. Now, if I ask you section 26 of CETA, where is it in the Nigerian Tax Act? Who can tell me? Nobody. So it means that whatever we know before, we have to set it aside and learn new things. And that is why I say that tax is dynamic. Whatever it is, tax in Nigeria is not the same in Ghana. It's not the same anywhere. And because of that dynamism, it's something that will change as the environment changes. So the Act comprehensively overhauled the Nigerian tax landscape to drive economic growth, increase revenue generation, improve the business environment, and enhance effective tax administration across all levels of government. The reform is not only addressing federal, it's addressing states, it's addressing local government. What that means is that if you've been paying some levies to the local government, you're not going to pay that again with what has happened. And that means that local government also have to start changing their mindset about revenue generation, about doing it right. It means that the citizen now have to be asking them for accountability of how this money is spent. What are the key provisions of the Tax Reform Act? I will not bore us with this, but I'll just run through them. Now we have the Institutional and Tax Administration Reform, and that is a major shift in what we used to know as Federal Inland Revenue Service, now becoming Nigeria Revenue Service. And this has generated a lot of reactions. Customs, they are talking. All these people, they are saying so. We know what the concerns will be. We all understand what that means. So from 1st of January, you might not be seeing just customs acting the way they used to act, but the revenue is still, they will do their work, but the revenue is going through the Nigerian Revenue Service. Then we have State Internal Revenue Service. They are not now going to be autonomous. If they've not been that before, they now need to think and see how they sustain themselves. We used to think that when you have 25 million turnover, you are a small company. But well, just to make sure that some that have been saying, look, 25 million is what in Nigeria's day is being increased to 50 million. And then some other thresholds were brought in. I'm used to saying, oh, I'm paying tertiary education levy. I mean, what do we call? But there's nothing like that again. So it means that whoever has an old tax law should please just go and remove that page from 1st of January 2026. And we start talking of development levy, which will remove all those other levies. And that is a 4%. Then there's something that carries the mind of multinationals, and that is the minimum effective tax rate of 15%. It's a concern. But are we different? We are not different. What is just happening is that it's happening globally, and Nigeria, no one carry last. So we must be there. Otherwise, if we don't put it in our own law, it means other countries will be getting the benefit of whatever taxes we give up. A concept of control foreign company. This used to be a major concept in international tax. And this has been brought into our tax law. When you have foreign countries that are controlled by Nigerian companies, we can actually have a share of the tax related to those companies based on some conditions when they distribute dividend. Startup companies, we want to encourage them, and the new law has actually given them some pre-commencement expense deductibility. Pioneer status, all of us know what it is. But now, from January 2026, what we'll be talking about, economic development incentive, and everything has changed. It's not just everybody come inside, the years of forum, like we used to know. So you have to really show that you have that economic activity. For me as an individual, what are my concerns? I need to also know how this affects me. Progressive rates has been revised. So it means that we have first 800,000, which used to be first 300,000. So we now have that 0%. So it means once you fall in that bracket, you are not. So there's nothing like consolidated relief allowance. So, and we have other things that comes in. The next 2.2 million at 15%, next 9 million at 18%. I think this is showing the reality of salaries in this age and time. So what are we saying? When you lose job, when anybody loses their job or have injury, and they say you get compensation, 10 million is now 50 million, which seems realistic because of the way things are. But be as it may, all these changes are things we all need to get ourselves used to. I remember when I was learning, and I was just a rookie going to tax office. I hope you still remember Broad Street, and Marina. So I'll go there, to say go and do assessment, you match, you get collection, you do assessment, you match the two, you cannot get tax clearance. Now we don't do that again, which means a phase has passed, another phase is passing. So you sit in your room, you file your tax return, and anything that goes. We're going to get into a stage where when you do anything in the system, you see why I said that. The taxman does not need to call you. He can read it. And that is what is happening. I'm opportune to study what's going on in Tanzania and some other African countries. And in Tanzania, you cannot collect your VAT offset without an e-invoicing. And that's what has been introduced. They track everything. And if you think you're smart, you just try to play it. They can read everything you do in their office. In some jurisdiction, penalty regime is so high. I know a jurisdiction where your penalty is 50% of the amount without any excuse. You just get your bill and you pay. So a lot is going to happen. I know peculiarity of Nigeria may not make us to go that fast, but with these little reforms, things are changing. Capital gains tax is also changed. Before 2000, I think in 2000, is in 1996 or so, the CGT Act was amended. Capital gains tax on shares and stocks was amended. And this is a major amendment to capital gains tax. Now, for you as an individual, you're not doing a flat rate again. Your personal income tax rate, which I read earlier, applies, which has changed the landscape. For a company, why would you pay 10% on CGT? It's now been married to 30% rate, aligning with CIT. For a non-resident, how does this affect them? There's what we call force of attraction rules. If you have different points of businesses, we call them permanent establishments. You're doing activities, you're doing by virtue of your activities. Maybe you have one in Kogi State, another one in Sokoto State, another one in Zamfara State. What the force of attraction is saying, it will be pulled together because you're doing it within that jurisdiction and it will be subjected to tax. So even if you conduct through permanent establishment, you will be taxable if it falls within the threshold. Before now, I remember when I started tax work, I'll still talk about my being a rookie. When you're a rookie, they just have to do something. No thinking is required, just do it. And ask questions. Then we'll do advisory, and they will tell us that there's what they call split contracts. I will tell you once a single contract. So we now started saying, what do you mean? So once you have a contract of engineering, procurement, and construction, it's one single contract. But people say, no, engineering is done in the UK. Construction is done in the US. Installation is done in Nigeria, so it's not the same. But what is the law is saying now is forget. As long as that cycle, you can trace the three to end up somewhere in Nigeria, it is taxable, whether you split it or not. So we have non-residents. They now have withholding tax obligation clearly spelled out. The bigger one for me is the free zones. Now, why would I leave customs territory and go and operate in the free zone? It's opened up. And the opening started in 2020, when the NEPSA Act was amended. And then they have to start filing returns. I understand a lot of things have gone. People have used that to plan and do a lot of things. But what we now have in the Act now makes free zone concept to just be even worse. Because if you're in the free zone, you're going to be paying charges to NEPSA. You are also going to be liable to 15% minimum effective tax rate. So, but for somebody who is in customs territory, he doesn't pay anything to renew license. Once he gets incorporation once, final. He only pays the 15% if he's part of a multinational. So that is now giving concern to the free zone. And from 2028, once you sell to custom, because the free zone is actually for export, that's the intention. Once you now decide to cross the 25% given you, then you sell to customs above that, your cover is fully removed. So the question will be, why would I want to establish in the free zone and by 2028, I will not have any cover? Like some say, they will say, Olomori, no more Omori for it, so it's exposure. So VAT, we all know what's been happening in VAT. The more they get, the more they should give us. The president has been publishing all what the states have collected. How many of us have called our governors? Why? How are you spending the money? So they're getting more share now based on this. So there's a lot of things that have changed. More money in the hands of the state, but I want to believe that there will be more returns to the people. Taxpayers' rights. You have a right now as a taxpayer. And what is that doing to us? You can actually get somebody to listen to you, and that's the tax ombuds office. This concept runs in South Africa, where you can actually have a neutral point. You can bring your case as a taxpayer, and the tax authorities also come and you reach an agreement. That has been brought into our tax law. Dispute resolution to be faster. I pray it is done. So those are expectations. Laws have been amended. So many laws amended. So many laws scrapped. But what are the expectations? The expectation from this is that there'll be inclusive growth and shared prosperity. Every sector should benefit from this. The expectation is that there should be improvement in living standard through fair tax burden, fairer tax burden. There should be strengthening of the domestic revenue mobilization, reducing reliance on debt and loans. Nigeria's debt profile is alarming. It's scary. I just hope we will not mortgage the future of those who are coming behind. But something needs to be done. And I want to believe that if this reform scales through as expected, that debt profile should come down if all of us do what we're to do. Now, what are really the benefits on the economic side? Economic reliefs. I expect that this reform should at least alleviate the problem on the lives of the low-income earners if it's been raised. So they've been exempted. If you have 1 million annually, then your rent, because it's basic for you anyway, you get a relief on rent, and that should help. There should be lower tax burden for citizens, is expected. There should be, there's a pay exemption for junior military ranks. And there are also no stamp duty on rent below 10 million. In the first instance, a lot of landlords don't even understand the stamp duty thing you talk about. And that's why I said a lot needs to be done in terms of education. When you pay your rent and you tell your landlord, I want to deduct withholding tax, what do? They will bash you. And some of them don't even understand why they should pay stamp duty or anything. So, but we are saying we're giving them some relief, no stamp duty, everybody comply. It's going to be a hard one to get everybody to comply. In terms of the reform, what are the pathways to be rebuilding the economy? The government on their side, they're going to be able to enhance domestic revenue mobilization through this reform. And this will create fiscal space for critical infrastructure and social investment. There's also going to be a rebuilding of industrial capacity. It's expected that tax incentives should be linked to industrial policy goals, not just to have it. If you are having an incentive, and that's the brain behind removing pioneer status and looking at those sectors that we need to develop and then encourage people to get tax holiday for that. Informal sector, there's a lot of noise about informal sector outside the tax net. What this reform is doing is to say, let's make life easier for the informal sector. Let's bring them in and let them pay their own fair share of tax to the government. Trust and fiscal social contract. There's always a breach in trust. We don't trust government. Government don't trust taxpayers. And they believe that if you go to tax office, they just believe anybody that comes here, they're not telling us the truth. And the tax audit will now go on and on and on. But I believe we should get to a level whereby we can trust each other. And that's where we stand as CITM members, as a district, for us to build that trust in our clients, and such that when we approach any tax office, come 2026, they can say, yes, I believe that being a CITM member, being a professional, your client is going to do the right thing. And that builds the trust. However, there are some challenges. You might be saying, why am I talking of challenges in a law that is yet to be implemented? But one thing we should know is this, that when we have any law, it will keep going through some reviews again and again. But at times, we can also foresee what things might likely fall in one or two areas. For instance, the institutional capacity to implement the policy and legislative framework is imperative. So looking at the new tax law and the capacity in the state internal revenue services might be a challenge. So that means the state internal revenue services have to now quickly be up to speed, get their staff to be up to give what it takes. We're not going to be having some cooperative efforts between federal and state. So it means if you're advising your clients, let them get everything correct, both the federal side and the state side, because you can't stop that from happening as time goes on. Stakeholder collaboration. The tax authorities, the tax practitioner, the taxpayer, they are critical in the implementation. If any of the three decides not to cooperate, there's not going to be a way we achieve this purpose. We have poor outcomes. And these are things that we need to start thinking, how do we get all stakeholders to come together? One thing that I've learned with the little exposure to policy decision is that stakeholder engagement can make or mar a policy. Because if you're not getting the right stakeholders to address what you're doing, let's say, for instance, I'm talking about reaching out to Coastal. I want to do Coastal Road. The people that are there are the major stakeholders. You need to resettle them. Otherwise, you're displacing them. Now, you want to do some development. They must own the project so that when they own the project, they will protect it. And that will give good results. So stakeholders are very important. Digital digital divide for SMEs. All our SMEs are not that digital freak. So they need to be up to speed. If you're saying e-invoicing and you're talking to an informal sector participant who does not even have a laptop, who does not even have a social media account, who doesn't even know what it is to go online, then it becomes a problem. So we need to now start thinking of how do we integrate all our SMEs into the digital world more than before. Then political economic pressures. There could be pressures from the political setup on the implementation of the different reforms. And once this happens, there'll be resistance. And once there's resistance, then we may not be able to achieve the goal. In conclusion, the Nigeria's 2025 Tax Reform Act provide a rare window to reset the nation's fiscal compass. If fully implemented, it will shift taxation from being a narrow revenue extraction tool to becoming a strategic driver of productivity, equity, and industrial renewal. To rebuild the Nigerian economy, tax and fiscal policy reform must be inclusivity and vision. The reforms are not ends in themselves, but instruments of a larger project, the creation of a resilient, competitive, and just economy. I'd like to close with some quotes. I'll take from Adam Smith, because when you talk about economics, we know that name is very familiar. He says, the tax which individual is bound to pay ought to be certain and not arbitrary. And Nigeria has the legal architecture. What is needed is the will to implement with fidelity and purpose so that everybody is clear, no ambiguity, and we know what to do, how to do, when to do, and do it at the right time. I also want to leave you with a quote from Oliver van der Ooms Jr. Taxes are the price we pay for a civilized society. We are going to tax reforms because we're now becoming more civilized and getting ourselves to say we are big brother Niger. So let's live with it, let's cope with it, and let's make it work. Thank you for your rapt attention. I wish you a successful 2025. Thank you.
Of CITN, thank you very much. Please, another round of applause for our lead speaker. And I'm sure a lot of us pay rapt attention to that particular discourse. You know, she started on that note to say if erudite scholar like her, who are vast in diverse area of taxation, has suddenly become novice. I was nodding my head with the knowledge that you have before you went to Kuru and the establishment of this tax regime. You are suddenly turning to me to come and lecture you. They have big work to do. So many of us in this room is to tell us that we need to unlearn, relearn, and get in track because we are more or less the ambassador that a lot of people are counting on. The chairman said something the other time. This is no longer the era for oil. As a matter of fact, we don't even know a lot of things about that oil. We don't know whether the oil will dry one day. But one thing we are very sure of is that tax is something you will continue to pay. It's the modalities that we keep redefining. And that's why this tax reform will definitely come up. I remember the presentation she had some times ago, speaking to Finance Act when it first came up. I'm no longer hear Finance Act. You have killed Finance Act. Nobody is talking about it. What we now hear is tax reform. What becomes of it in the next 2-3 years? Another thing would have come up in place. And that's why I appreciate being member of this profession because it's dynamic. And we just need to integrate ourselves into it so that you can definitely earn your money. There is money in this business, except for people that are ready to learn. Because when you misguide your client with this new tax law, I told my consultant, I am not a tax member. Once you goof, don't come to me, you will bear the brunt. And I'm sure a lot of people are counting on us. That's why you must integrate yourself with a lot of learning so that one or two things you can make good things for yourself. Please, another round of applause for our keynote speaker and our lead paper presenter. We want to go to the next subtopic, and that's the first subtopic. And it's good that we are hearing this from an administrator. Raising standard, driving impact. The tax professional as a catalyst for change. And that's just what I just said, that they need every one of us. As we are all sparkling with our white shirt, white cap, can we actually make that impact too, as it will be? So I want to crave our indulgence that will give a listening ear to our next speaker. And may I humbly request that you be upstanding. Let me just give an abridged of your profile so that we can actually move on. Mr. Adepoju is an tweet mathematician turned chartered accountant with vast experience spanning from both private and public sector. Okay. I made a small commitment. Please, we have the arrival of the SA to Mr. Governor. Please, can we be upstanding? That is Mr. Governor, Mr. Sellable, very much present here this morning. You know the other time they sell it. Please put it together for the SA on taxation and revenue for Lagos State, my own big brother, Dr. Abdul Kabir Okbayemi Ogumbo, FCTR. Thank you very much. Please, we may have our seats. Permit me, sir, I might want to allow you to please sit down. I gave a commitment. I'm sure a lot of you saw me stepped out. We need to just make that arrangement firm. You know, it's a great privilege when you have Mr. Governor, Mr. Sellable, very much present in our midst to even talk to you. And he's a very good brother of the house. He's always there. I'm sure he hosted the ESCO not too long, and you're obliged to be here this morning. So we'll be hearing a word from him before I bring in the main, the other subtopic facilitator, so that he can attend to other things for the state. Then you and I can have more money to actually pay to the state. On that note, permit me as I welcome to the podium the special advisor to Lagos State Governor on taxation and revenue. Put it together for Mr. Abdul Kabir Okbayemi Ogumbo, FCTR.
I hope this is not a coup. I was just waiting to sit down and maybe fraternize as a member of this branch. And my brother had to call me. Very quickly, permit me to stand on the well-established protocol that we have laid. And on that, I still want to appreciate the President and the Governing Council of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, distinguished fellows and members of this noble institute, our esteemed guests and delegates, members of this branch, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. It's almost afternoon. I am deeply honored to stand before you today as a special guest at this prestigious tax week of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, Ikeja district. Let me begin by commending this great institute for its unwavering commitment to the advancement of tax knowledge and practice in Nigeria. Indeed, the deliberations and insights that spring from gatherings like this are not mere academic exercises. They are the seeds of national transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, taxation is more than a fiscal tool. It is the very foundation of governance and citizenship. It is a language through which a people entrust their government with the resources to shape the future. To shape the future, roads, schools, hospitals, power supply, clean water, and security, none of this can be sustained without a robust and fair tax system. The framers of our Constitution understood this truth. Section 24 of 1999 Constitution, as amended, enshrines the duty of every citizen to declare honestly his income and pay his tax promptly. In those few words lies a covenant between citizen and state, a promise of accountability, reciprocity, and shared destiny. To pay tax, therefore, is not merely to comply with law, it is to participate in the sacred duty of nation building. In this spirit, it is most heartening that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, in line with his renewed hope agenda, has signed into law the new Finance Act, introducing much needed bold reforms to our tax and fiscal framework. These reforms are not cosmetic, like you know. They are courageous steps designed to broaden the tax net, eliminate leakages, and ensure equity. They seek to simplify compliance, protect businesses, and align our fiscal system with global best practices. At their heart is a vision to rebuild an economy where the government is adequately funded, businesses are fairly treated, and citizens are assured that their contributions are well spent. If and when faithfully implemented, this law has the potential to restore trust in the tax system and to lay a durable foundation for sustainable growth. Permit me to single out Lagos State, Nigeria's economic heartbeat, as a case study in tax innovation. For years, Lagos has shown that with courage, creativity, and technology, tax administration can be transformed. The automation of Lagos tax regime through the introduction of Lagos Enterprise Tax Platform, which is called e-tax, and the Lagos Revenue Portal has revolutionized revenue management by digitizing tax processes. Lagos has made compliance simpler, more transparent, and more convenient. Leakages are curtailed, efficiency is enhanced, and voluntary compliance is steadily growing. This is clear demonstration that technology is no longer a luxury in tax administration. It's a necessity, and has proven that when technology meets political will, the results are remarkable. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this year's tax week, rebuilding the economy through tax and fiscal policy reforms, would not be more timely. Today, Nigeria stands at a crossroad. Our infrastructure demands expansion, our education system requires revitalization, and our healthcare sectors need urgent strengthening. The truth is stark. Oil's revenue alone cannot carry this weight. It is taxation that must become the engine of our national renewal. Every road constructed, every school rehabilitated, every public hospital equipped, every security agency strengthened, all these flow from taxes faithfully paid and responsibly managed. Thus, when citizens comply, they are not losing, they are investing. Investing in Nigeria that works, in Nigeria that serves, in Nigeria that endures. At this historic juncture, what is required is a new social compact from policymakers, the courage to design reforms that are fair, transparent, and growth-oriented. For administrators, your role is the integrity to collect with professionalism and to manage with accountability. From citizens, the patriotism to embrace tax compliance as a duty of honor, not a burden of coercion. If we align these forces, taxation will cease to be viewed with suspicion and will instead be celebrated as the bridge the bridge to a stronger economy, a more just society, and a more prosperous future. Ladies and gentlemen, as we mark this last week, let us rise to the moment. Let us see taxation not as an imposition, but as an instrument of renewal. Let us embrace fiscal reform not as policy debates, but as national imperatives. For in the end, a nation is only as strong as the commitment of its people to its commonwealth. And taxation is that commitment, written not in words, but in action. May this last week inspire all of us, policymakers, administrators, citizens alike, to rededicate ourselves to the noble task of rebuilding our economy, reforming our systems, and renewing the promise of Nigeria. As a member, I want to continue to encourage you. Thank you, and God bless the Chartered Institute of Taxation, Ikeja District. May God bless Lagos State, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
I'm sure we can do better than that for our essay. Thank you very much, sir. We know despite your tight schedule, you have used this to honor us as a member of the district, and we want to acknowledge the good work you are doing in actually raising the bar for our Center of Excellence. We believe and we trust that your representation on the cabinet will continue to make great impact. Please, another round of applause for him, please. So with this, we'll go straight to the subtopic one. Like I was saying, we will be talking on raising standard, driving impact, the tax professional as a catalyst for change. And permit me, Dr. Adepoju, again to please be upstanding. Please, can you give this man a round of applause for his understanding? Maybe before I read the profile, he's indeed a mathematician, because it is well calculated. When I asked him to stand up the other time, and when he was about to sit down, I saw the mathematical calculation of the sitting down to say, okay, you it, but I'm going to recalibrate. Thank you very much for your understanding. A mathematician turned chartered accountant with vast experience spanning from both private and public sector, which include consulting, auditing, banking, taxation, and oil and gas industry. Some of the places where he has get over 25 years of experience include KPMG, Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission, Omega Bank, now Mainstream, to mention a few. He's a member of ICANN, a fellow of the Institute of ICANN, fellow of CITN, fellow of the Institute of Management Consultant, and certified management consultant. He's an outstanding graduate of mathematics and statistics. He has his master's degree in business administration from Unilag, and also a degree, master's from Babcock, from MSc from Babcock. He owed a PhD in accounting with specialization in fiscal policy and taxation. Currently the deputy director with FIRS and the head of audit, Lagos Tax Office. He's an unassuming leader, brilliant, smart thinker, focused and financial consultant expert with passion for taxation, happily married and blessed with great children. Please put it together as I welcome to the podium, Dr. Ajayi Adepoju, FCTR. Always encourage my speakers with your clap. Oh. Okay, wants to leave. Okay. So please, you know, to have SA very much present in our midst is always a tight schedule, and you'll be part of them. That I know. Please, can we have a group photograph? The president, the SA, the chairman. So please join. Are we photographer up or down? Okay. You know, everybody get power for your own area. All right. Permit me to invite the past chairmen to join them, those that are present, Barrister Ibala Jobi and Barrister Ilo. Please join them. After that, the ESCO that are present just stay at the way. It's not easy to get SA. And when you get home, you go and frame the picture. Just put it in your living room. That do you know that I know SA? Use it to brag. Okay. Thank you. The executive member, just go to the back. You can stay, sir. You can stay. You are still part of the big boys playing in the big league. So some of us can go to the back and just reflect there. I was asking myself if Kensington has left the ESCO. Do we have any other ESCO member present? Photographer, pause. I come here today. Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for our SA as he takes his leave. Okay, there is a small request. Committee members, please, can you come? You know, I told you the other time I had to join the picture because we don't know where they will take the picture to. So, committee members, are you here? Please, let's join the SA. No, you can spread to the other side. Spread to the other side. So you can be here. When you see opportunity, grab them. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you greatly.
Yes. Good afternoon, professional colleagues. I'll be collecting the MC card. I make things work. Thank you very much, sir. God bless you. Let me start by commenting on Madam's paper. Madam, a highly respected person in the industry. Madam Titi Owokan. Yes, we're seeing physically for the first time, but I'm one of the people that look forward to you. I want my daughter to be like you. She is a wonderful woman, very intelligent, erudite, and the fair now is she has spoken before me. So what am I going to say again? That's okay. Thank you for coming, man. God bless you for the great job you are doing in the institute. So my paper today is very simple. Permit me the way I dress. It's good to be a big man. I was trying to be fit for this program. I went to gym, I over-exercised and injured my leg. That's why I'm a little bit limping, but everything is fine. I'll be here. And thank God for the secretary of the institute, of the district, that insisted I must come because I was planning to send one of my guys, train, to come and deliver. He said, no, I have to be here because I'm friend of the house. Thank you for welcoming me. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, today's paper is titled Raising Standard, Driving Impact, the task professional as a catalyst for change. It's what we know, it's what we'll be doing, it's what we'll continue to do. The standard we're talking about is in three folds: in time of training, attending seminar, and personal development. I will not be focusing on personal development today because something trigger in your mind for you not only to develop yourself, to be a better person. The job I have today is speaking to three aspects of us. One, our responsibility to taxpayer as a consultant, our responsibility to ourselves to develop and to hand the resources, the money, and to the nation to bring the revenue. So as a tax consultant, a tax professional, we have three tripod responsibility: to ourselves, to our taxpayer, and to the state. Now, what do we use as a measurement of standard? The institute, led by great Dr. Innocent, has set up the standard. Before now, the foundation has been laid for all to know. The ethics standard is on our platform. The standard is there. What we're supposed to follow is already there. What I'm doing here is just a reminder to tell us that we need not only to adhere to the objectives of the institute, but to be a noble representation of our great institute. Now, my slide. Oh, okay. I thought the slide would be, that's okay. The paper is in two forms, the Microsoft Word and the PowerPoint. I have sent it to. I don't know whether they're going to share it. Whichever way, I will be speaking to my PowerPoint. Why the entire Microsoft Word will be shared with all participants in the house. Now, introduction. Like Madam has said, the tax system is experiencing unprecedented changes. And the tax professional that we must be abreast of all the changes that is happening in the economy. You will remember from 2019, Finance Act. We have Finance Act in 19, 20, 21, 23, and in 24. Last year it was missing. Why? Because a fiscal revenue committee was set up that brought a brand new tax law for us to know. Like Madam has said, all those sessions you know before, you have to drop it for us to embrace the new, effective January 2026. Notwithstanding, the whole is still relevant. That's what we're talking to today. And the new, we are trying to embrace. Whether we like it or not, we have to make money using it. As a tax professional, we must be on top and abreast of all the changes that is happening. Again, thanks to the Institute, they'll be organizing seminars, organizing training for us to understand that we need to know all the changes that is happening in the system. Now, we as professionals, we are not only a compliance officer, we are an advisor, a strategic advisor to taxpayer. Not only to taxpayer, even to government. We have so many consulting bodies. They are consulting for state government, subnations, even for local government. It's our responsibility to upscale and to be abreast and to have capacity to deliver on all our mandates. Now, this presentation about raising standards today become important and eminent for all of us to understand one or two things. I go straight to the paper. What are the changes that is happening in the Nigerian tax environment? Madam has mentioned some of them, and I'll be repeating some while I go straight to how we can improve the standard and create impact that we expected from this room. The Nigerian tax system has undergone significant modernization in recent years. The introduction of Finance Act 2019, 2020, oh, very good, 2021, and 2023. And the most recent one, the tax reform, that will become effective 1st January 2026, has fundamentally altered our operating environment. The emphasis on digital economy taxation, transfer pricing regulation, increased compliance requirements has created both challenges and opportunity for tax professionals. There are challenges that will be created by the new law, and there's going to be huge opportunity. And when you have the capacity, then you are expected to earn more resources to yourself. So two things here. There are going to be challenges. That means we must not advise our taxpayer wrongly. And two, we must be on top of this tax law so that we can benefit even significantly for our professional institute and to ourselves. We have that responsibility. As a CITM member, we are uniquely positioned to help Nigerian businesses navigate these complex regulations while ensuring optimal compliance and strategic planning. Our expertise become invaluable in translating policy changes into practical business strategies. Technology and digitalization. Now, new things is happening in FRS and subnations, especially the estate to Lagos State government just left. Most of the activities in Lagos is digitalized, and FRS too has gone ahead, but based on the reason of COVID, that now you can file from your bedroom, and we are introducing e-invoicing. E-invoicing, yes, we are focusing first on the big ticket companies that are doing 20 billion and above. That's the starting point, but you can be sure that it will be cascaded to the small taxpayer or emerging taxpayer. So it's beyond for us to understand what is the requirement of e-invoicing, what it entails. All this thing we're doing is to ensure that we receive more revenue from the taxpayer, not by twisting them, based on the law. Like I said, the Federal Inland Revenue Digital Initiative, including introduction of tax promise solution, e-invoicing, electronic filing requirement as referential tax practice in Nigeria. This development requires us to enhance our technological capabilities while maintaining highest standard of professional services. COVID-19 pandemic accelerated digital transformation across all sectors, making technology proficiency essential for effective tax practices. We must embrace these changes as opportunity to embrace our service delivery and create greater value for our clients and organization. That's the fulcrum. There is opportunity for us to not only to understand what is happening in the digital world, for us to have a capacity enhancement to be able to tackle the challenges that come with it, so that we will not only benefit the taxpayer, we will benefit the nation in terms of revenue generation. Raising standard. What has this does? Like I told you before, MTPT, that is mandatory training for all the professionals, is expected. That's why we are giving credit units. We are expected to attend all this training so that we can enhance our capacity, so that we can understand and benchmark others, so that we can raise standard together. Ethical practices is given to us at induction, and it's on the platform of the institute so that we know the do and don't of the institute. It's important for all of us, not only to raise standard, to put our mind to learning, to training. Learn, the MC talks about relearn, learn, and relearn. That's the idea, because tax system is dynamic, it's never opaque. So meaning we have to refresh ourselves every time, every season, to be on top of our game. So in a evolving business environment, our school leadership become increasingly important. We serve as guidance of transparency, accountability, and proper tax governance across all sectors of the economy. Our ethical standards contribute to building investor confidence. This one is an integral part of our service to the nation. When we provide advisory services, there is prompt and optimal return of tax return to taxpayer. The other nations, the other country can leverage on our clear-cut taxes law for them to bring their investment. Nobody wants to invest where there is no clear-cut tax law or guiding principle by which filing and the rest are done. So it's embellished with us to have a standard, to have a rule by which investors can have confidence in bringing their investment to our nation, Nigeria. And by the time investors come more, then we have more service to render to the taxpayer and benefit more for ourselves. I told you it's three tripod, benefits our service to the taxpayer, to ourselves, and to the nation. So when the three work together, we say the economy is improving. So quality assurance and provision standards. The CITM provision standard provide the framework for delivering quality tax services. Our commitment to this standard ensure consistency, reliability, and excellence in tax practice throughout the country. In maintaining rigorous quality assurance processes, comprehensive documentation practices, continuous improvement initiatives, tax professionals contribute to overall credibility and effectiveness on tax system. What are we talking about? When we are abreast of our job, when we train and relearn the things we're not supposed to do, then our work will speak credibility and effectiveness, and our taxpayer will pay what we call optimum returns to government. Driving organizational impact in Nigerian enterprise. Nigerian businesses face unique challenges, including multiple taxation, complex regulatory requirements, evolving international tax obligation. As tax professionals, we provide strategic guidance that helps organizations optimize their tax position while supporting business growth and competitiveness. This is very simple. Before tax reform, there have been so many tax reform, multiple taxation. People complain about multiple taxation, different roadblocks, Lagos State collecting, federal collecting, local government collecting. Now, with the new tax law, we are waiting for it to happen. And we pray that we will support the government and the citizenry to make sure that multiple taxation is a thing of the past. It's one of the key cardinal reasons for this reform. Like I said, nobody wants to do business in a chaotic environment where there is no rule, where there is no law. But with this new law, and based on our conscience and professional, I know we'll be supporting not only the taxpayer, the government, to have maximum benefit or return to the table. Now this one is important. We talked about raising standards, especially for emerging taxpayer or small and micro taxpayer. It's important for us to provide advisory services that is top-notch. The minimum is not, we have two categories of taxpayer now in federal level. We have small and large. The medium is gone. For any company doing 0 to 50 million income per year, we classify as small. Above is now large. For small, they are paying 0 CITN rates. All this understanding, like I said, CITN is driving the change. They keep talking to us. So many training and seminars is going on. It's for us to know. And again, to encourage this emerging or small taxpayer how to make their book, how to prepare their book, how to prepare them to when they will enter above 50 million bracket. It is our responsibility. In fact, in a Nigerian context, they have about 65% of the economy. That means that is where most of us will fit in to provide service, appropriate service to optimize their returns. They need to understand when you cross this threshold, you will pay small thing to government. It's not a tout rate tax collection. It's about the law. It's about having their understanding and making them to understand that they are part of government. In fact, from the code that have been given to us, the reason why you can question your government is because you pay tax. Tax is mandatory. When you pay, you have mouth. When you have mouth, you can ask questions. Without paying, you can't ask questions. So that's the idea. That's the symposium of taxation. It's important we understand that we need to get involved and increase our quotient for our taxpayer. Corporate governance, again, Nigerian business increasingly recognize the importance of strong corporate governance and comprehensive compliance program. Our expertise as professionals in tax compliance, internal controls, and risk management helps Nigerian business maintain their reputation, avoiding costly penalty, operate with confidence in complex regulatory society. It's important we know that our service is undulated. When we wrongly advise taxpayer, they will pay penalty and interest. And unfortunately for most taxpayers now, most of the FRS in particular, and some of the states have automated their interest and penalty is computed daily. Now, meaning when you advise a client wrongly, the interest it will pay will be on you. And the skirmish that can result from that is, I'm looking for another consultant because you have advised wrongly. So it's important for us to be abreast of what is happening, to be abreast that interest and penalty is becoming automated, and the penalty might be heavy on their businesses. So our advice, our prompt advice, effective advice is important in the wrong of affair. So why are we contributing to Nigerian economic development, revenue generation, and tax administration? As tax professionals, we serve as partner with government agency in improving administration and revenue generation by promoting voluntary compliance, supporting taxpayer education initiative, contributing to policy development. We have to build a more effective and efficient tax system that serves Nigerian development. As we've spoken to our responsibility to taxpayer, now to government, we are part and will continue to be part. In the revenue committee that happened last year, we have more than 14 professional CITM members in that committee that gave back to the new tax law. So meaning our interests have been covered and provided for. So it's now for us to encourage not only compliance, to be abreast of what change that happened so that we'll continue to give our best of service to taxpayers. Again, on the government part, we are counting on all professionals, especially of our institute, of our great institute, to support government in bringing the money. The reform has been made. And one of the reasons for that reform is to move our tax to GDP ratio from 10%, the different calculations. In our books, in FRS, we say 12.5. Well, I got Madam said less than 10%. Let's agree to it. So in less than 10%, we want to move it to 18% at minimum within the next 3 years. Now, none of the generating agencies of government can do it alone without us. So we have responsibility to support government so that we can have more school, more hospital, and more beautiful road to pray, and maybe Nigerian airline. God will help us. Yes. It's our money. So, policy development and tax reform, I've spoken about that. We as CITM member, we have valuable opportunity to contribute to tax policy development through our participation in public consultation, technical committees, and professional forum. Our practice experience and technical expertise provide critical insight for effective formulation. Active engagement in policy development demonstrate our commitment to the public interest, and help ensure that the tax reform support economic growth, development, investment, attraction, and social development objectives. We have all agreed that our role, not only as professional, is that of impact. We talked about impact. Our impact to the environment. The environment we have found ourselves is called Nigerian society. We as professionals, we are to support government in bringing in the revenue to the covers of government and ensuring that the money is properly utilized for the benefit of the citizenry. So we have to do our role in that sense. We help in bringing the money, and we question government how the money is spent. We as administrator, I want us to bring in the money. How the government spend the money, I don't know. If you ask me, so if you ask me, is it the egg before the hen or hen before the egg? I will not be able to answer. My own is to bring the money. How the government spend the money, I don't know. But you can ask question. I can ask question. So you are properly and well positioned to ask government question how your money is being spent. But I will stay in my parlor or in my kitchen or in my bedroom. Government, how do you spend that period? So let's not join government to bring in the money so that we can have a better country. In fact, Nigeria is one of the best places to live. The taxpayer. Okay. We've spoken about policy development. When we get involved in all these activities, we'll develop ourselves, we understand the new standard that's been formed, and we follow the ethical formation of the institute so that at the end of the day, we don't have breach of the law. Now, of interest is international tax compliance and investment. Okay, sorry. So Nigerian participation in global tax incentive and international investment flow require sophisticated professional expertise. Our understanding of international tax law, transfer pricing regulation, cross-border transnational position to support Nigerian integration into global economy. By helping multinational corporations comply with Nigerian tax requirements while facilitating legitimate international business activity, will contribute to foreign investment attraction and economic growth. To some of us that work with multinational companies, to some of us that are part of the revenue institute or revenue agency, is this one become critical, especially Madam mentioned effective tax rate of 15% for affiliated company, Nigerian company to subsidiary. It's important for us to understand all those things. What does FRS mean, or what does the law mean by 15% effective tax rate? Maybe we have a forum to discuss that. But the institute have take it upon themselves to be enlightening the public what that means. All in all, is just to make sure that Nigeria is not shortchanged in the international global forum. Okay. Challenges and opportunities for tax professional. That's challenges and opportunities for all of us. What are the opportunities? What are the challenges? The growing demand for sophisticated tax service in Nigeria creates opportunities for professional growth and specialization. Continuous capacity building ensure that Nigerian tax professionals remain competitive globally while meeting the evolving needs of our domestic economy. We have to live by the time. We have to live by the rule. We have to understand the trend. We have to know this kind of service who will be providing. With the new tax law, there is opportunity for specialization for us so as to be able to render what we call tailor-made best cost services to our taxpayer. That's what we are talking about here. There are different areas of taxes that we need to understand. Merger, acquisition, advisory, compliance, filing. There's so many areas. Construction, professional. There are so many. So for this new tax law, we can start specializing, start understanding a particular area that will become a master in. It's important for us to understand that we can focus our attention on a particular sector and make resources available to that sector so that we can have the maximum benefit from the area we are specialized on. I'll be running to conclusion now. My time is fast spent. So the emerging opportunity, I listed them there. Digital taxation expertise, we are expecting people to have better skill, understanding in digital taxation, cryptocurrency, fintech. Fintech is one of the most luscious sector now in the Nigerian economy. They are doing very well. OP of this world, money points. There are so many of them. When you do the transfer now, in less than 1 second, you are receiving your alert. So how do you track those income? How do you track the transaction? You have to probe your mind, understand the software, understand how you can advise that kind of client or taxpayer so that you can have maximum benefit, like I said. That's the digital economy we're talking about. It's important we take advantage of fintech, this cryptocurrency area, and have understanding of that area so that we can provide what we call qualitative advisory services. So we have another one, transfer pricing and insurance tax advisory. We talked about risk management and dispute resolution. Madam, I've mentioned it. Now, a new body will be set up, different from tax authority, where the solution of tax dispute will come up. You can represent them like a lawyer or a tax professional and provide the side of your client. Then you are not just doing it for free, you are earning money. So you have sector specific. Agriculture is coming up, oil and gas. We have support for SME. We have corporate restructuring, that's merger and acquisition and tax planning. We have tax technology and automation services. I mentioned it before. Public sector and donor engagement. There are so many donors now. And what are the tax requirements for them? Some of them said they don't pay tax. Free trade, Madam mentioned free trade zone. When they do supply, they were set up to make export. Now, immediately as now providing service and support and goods to custom territory, then you make your goods either less competitive and cost distort. That's the reason why that particular end was put in the law. if you are producing from free trade zone, you are sending at 10 naira to custom territory, and people in custom territory are sending at 15 naira. That means they are already disadvantaged. So that's why we have to, when you do more than 20%, then then we'll look, okay, we have to tax you and remove the veil that you are hiding under. So we need to understand all those things. And because free trade zone is a very lucrative sector end for taxes that most of the states where we have free trade zone are not even exploring. But we are taking the gauntlet. We are moving forward, and we pray for more revenue for Nigerian society. So, what are the recommendations for our member? Okay, good. We've said it. We are privileged to be here. This is one of the advantages of coming here. We came together to learn. Continuous learning and skill development. Madam has spoken. I pick 1 or 2 points. You will have picked 1, 2, 3, 4 points. That's the essence of learning. What we are doing here is learning and relearning and trying to understand and network among ourselves. So the first point has been highlighted. And again, the institute and your district is doing well in this particular area, organizing training, continuous training for professional members so that they can up their skill and have understanding of what is happening in the environment. Technology adoption and digital competency, like I said, that depends on you. I remember in 90, most of those banks, I don't want to mention their name, most of those banks that refused to adopt computer technology, if you look at the return that happened last year, they are not in top 4. None is in top 4. The new bank of this world, I can mention that one for free. GTB paid the highest of dividend to me. Don't know about you, Zenith. But all those banks that refuse to change them, don't mention it. Don't mention it. Few of them has died. Few of them have died. The few that are around, they are not in top 5. That's the way it is. Time changes and time passes them away. So for us as professionals, don't let the same thing happen to you. You pick your laptop, pick your iPad, learn. There are so many skills. Don't forget AI, ChatGPT, learn it. Ask your children to teach you. Put them together. They are very versatile. Yeah. Gen Z, they are very good. Gen Z, they are very good. So learn fintech. When we leave here, I want to collaborate with 1 or 2 of you. I didn't want to serve again for too long in FRS. I want to leave so that I can still use my useful life to set up a company. 1 or 2 join me so I can set up a fintech or another one, gambling company. So much money. They laugh, yeah. There's so much money in gambling. In Nigeria, you now play gamble every day. So we can set up a gambling. We have bet Nigeria, bet, blue bet. We can call it Ikeja district bets. We'll make money. Okay. Professional networking and collaboration, ethical leadership, and community service. So that the way we learn, so that the way we improve standards, so that the way we impact society. Finally, conclusion. So, in my conclusion, distinguished colleague, as a member of the Best Professional Institute, we have the privilege and responsibility to lead the transformation of our profession. You said this is a district of excellence, of distinction. This district and others. That's okay. Then we have to lead by charging forward. So the future of our profession lies in our hands. By embracing change, maintaining excellence, and serving as catalysts for positive transformation, we can achieve our full potential as influential contributor to Nigerian growth and development. Let us leave this annual task week with renewed commitment to professional excellence, enhanced collaboration, and shared value and determination to elevate our profession while serving our nation development needs. Together, we will raise standards and drive the impact the Nigerian require or needs at this time. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adeboju, for that wonderful presentation. We are moving straight to the last one, and can assure you we want to really see how we manage time for us to be able to leave here and attend to other programs. So the next 20 minutes, I will be yielding the floor for the representative of the National Vice Chairperson of Suites. Please help me make welcome Mr. Olusesan Pasakin. A round of applause. Pardon me, we do it together. Let's see what we can do within 20 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My namesake. It's a privilege to be here, and I would like to stand on the existing protocol, but I also like to mention the stalwarts that are in the auditorium this morning or the afternoon now. The vice president or the deputy vice president of this wonderful institute, Dr. Fowokon. Ma, it's a privilege to be under your tutelage. The first time I met you was about 5 years ago, where you made a presentation at ICANN conference in Abuja. And since then, I've noted that we have such an Amazon. Please, can we appreciate her one more time? I also like to appreciate the leadership of SEP. I have just 20 minutes, so I would like to move on a quick dash. I want to present from my paper because I made some copious notes while the first and the second presenter were making their presentation. So I'm going to speak on the topic, new tax reform, gains and pains for stakeholders. New tax reforms, gains and pains for stakeholders, and it's presented by Dr. Ani Odo. I am representing her, as has been mentioned. So the objective of this session is to equip participants with the knowledge and practical insights to critically understand Nigerian new tax reforms within the broader fiscal policy agenda, evaluate their gains and pains for key stakeholders, and develop adaptive strategies, including effective internal control responses that promote compliance, operational efficiency, and long-term economic and stakeholder value creation. We all know the saying goes that there is no gain without pain. So we are looking critically at the gains and the pains, and we are balancing it up. Did you know that the Nigeria tax to GDP ratio is far below the global average, creating a significant gap in national revenue? Our GDP, our tax to GDP ratio as at 2022 stands at 7.9%. Stood at 7.9%. Somalia had 2.1%, and Tunisia was 33.5%. And when you look at how we ended up in 2024, our tax to GDP ratio was about 13.5%. And today I heard that it's about 10%. But when I checked the data, it was about 13.5% according to OECD statistics on Nigeria. And even if you look at if it was truly 13.5% as at end of 2024, it's still 20% below the tax to GDP ratio of Tunisia as at 2022. So there is a massive gap that we need to address so that the international community can take us seriously. Okay, please, I'm trying to jump because I know I have a very short time. So looking at the key reforms overview, we have key reforms. We have 4 new tax laws. And our first presenter, Dr. Fowokon, has done justice to it. And Dr. Adeoye, I think I got it right, Adepoju, apologies, sir, has also done justice to it. So I won't be talking about it, but we know we have the NTA, the NTAA, the NSRA, and the GRBA. These four laws they are a phenomenal, and they are going to cause seismic shift in tax administration in Nigeria. So we should all fasten our seatbelt and get ready. What's new in the 2025 tax reforms? We have digitalization, implementation of the e-invoicing, as I've been mentioned by the keynote speaker, is going to change how small businesses report, their transactions. Fiscalization of the VAT is changing our transaction reporting from paper-based to electronic-based. And that's going to cause some pain, especially to the small and medium enterprise. Then it's going to streamline the tax types. The NTA, the Nigerian Tax Act, it's merging about 20 tax laws. There's no more CGT, there's no more PITA, there's no more CITA. I am seeing some books becoming obsolete, some tax books. Some have to be rewritten. So it's changing what we used to know. Every one of us here have to unlearn and relearn. Okay? Then there's global alignment. We've talked about the 15% minimum global tax. It's talking to the OECD minimum global tax initiative. That multinationals should pay minimum 50% in the country or jurisdiction where they are operating. And what this new tax law has done is to make sure that Nigeria is also applying that to our tax law. That's, as Madam Focus said, we have to put it in our laws. If we do not, other jurisdictions who have it in their law will be taking advantage of Nigeria. And the reason why that was also brought is speaking to the BEPS initiative of the OECD, which is base erosion and profit shifting that many multinationals have been doing. So they move revenue from high tax jurisdiction to low tax jurisdiction, using this low tax jurisdiction as a tax haven. And this tax law is trying to discontinue that. So we have centralized collection. Are we? Okay, we are together. We are together. Okay, thank you. Can I just drop this so that if you're flowing with me, thank you very much. Centralized collection tax collection under the and initially we were all concerned when they want to collect our job. Until we studied the law and we discovered that this is going to put us forward. If we really want to move forward in Nigeria, we have to put our best foot forward. And that is what these 4 new laws are going to do. Then we have incentive for SMEs, exemption from tax for small companies operating at less than or equal to 100 million revenue. And if your fees asset, the value of your fees asset is 250 million and below, you are exempted from tax, from company income tax. Then we have enhanced enforcement. So there will be stricter penalties for taxpayers who wants to practice evasion. And I see that even tax consultants will have to sit up. Sharp practices must come to an end. This time around, the government means business. Okay. So why tax reform matter to Nigeria? Why does it matter to Nigeria? The primary purpose of Nigerian new tax reform is to broaden the tax base. There are so many people, so many businesses, so many taxpayers outside the tax base. So it's going to try to formalize the informal sector and to reduce over reliance on oil income. So it's a means of diversification and to modernize our tax administration, which many analysts believe is going obsolete. The reforms are designed to create a fairer, more efficient system that encourages voluntary compliance, curb leakages, and aligns tax policy with Nigeria's long-term fiscal sustainability and development goals. Okay, why does it matter to Nigeria? Its strategic importance to stakeholders, the government. It provides sustainable revenue for infrastructure, social services, and debt management, reducing dependence on volatile oil receipts. We have huge infrastructure gap in Nigeria, huge, going to trillions of naira. And we can only bridge this gap through increased and improved sustained collection of revenue for the government. Like Dr. Dekwa said, his job is to collect. How the government spends is not his work, okay? Then businesses, investors, it offers clearer, more predictable rules that improve the ease of doing business, reduce multiple taxation, and enhance investor confidence. Then for citizens, it strengthens accountability by linking tax revenue to visible public goods, while fostering equity in how tax burden is shared. So, for example, if you read the Joint Revenue Board Act, you know, it requires government to publish periodic reports on tax revenue collected, tax incentives granted, alongside impact analysis. So you see that the government is intentional about transparency, not only on the part area, but on the parts of government. So the incentives you grant, the revenue you collect, how did you spend it? What are the incentives you grant? A cargo, or they bring in a consignment. They go to MPA, they report 1, 2, 3. They go to Shippers Council, they report something else. You go to NIMASA, you report 1. So you have one consignment, different assessment base. With the national single window that stops, it is a digitized unified platform. That same information open to MPA, is open to NIMASA, is open to Shippers Council, is open to NIWA, is open to all the operators, even customs, all the operators in the maritime sector. So these changes, these initiatives, these improvements have come to change the way we do business and the way we report it. So development partners and global community, it signals Nigeria's commitment to fiscal discipline, good governance, and economic reforms that can attract foreign investment and international support. Okay. So we are still talking about why tax reform matters to Nigeria. The tax system needs reform to generate higher, more stable revenue, reduce dependency on oil, and ensure equitable growth across all sectors. The new tax reforms are part of Nigeria's strategic effort to rebalance its fiscal space, improve source. These reforms will affect how we affect how import duties, cabotage levies, port-related taxes are accessed. I've mentioned it, that the NSW portal gives open, transparent, complete information to all operators in the maritime sector. And I'm sure that is also repeated across all our sectors. So tax Wendell Holmes, a former US Supreme Court justice for 30 years. So, you know, we've talked about the issues around infrastructure in Nigeria. It's through increased and enhanced, improved revenue collection. I'm going to jump this and I'll go straight to the pains because I know I have little time. So the pains and gains, which is the main topic of my presentation. Number one, here we have the government. I'm sure somebody will be surprised that why are we saying government will have pains? Just like a hen that perches on a rope. Of the framers of this law is definitely will increase government revenue, and it will help us to reduce dependence on oil revenue, and it will improve fiscal discipline and international credibility. However, the pains, there will be political pressure and resistance from the citizen. So public office holders should be ready because people might be knocking on your doors and say, sir, what did you do? If I should pay higher tax, what are you doing with my money? So very soon, the question was asked that the federal government has been publishing, what's the allocations to states, and nobody has called their governor. Nobody has called their local government chairman. They will soon call. Maybe by the time these tax laws go mainstream, people will demand better accountability. Please, I would like to know when I have 5 minutes more so that I can just, the implementation challenges across different tiers of government. I'm foreseeing, just like every change, every process improvement, there might be teething problems at the onset in the short term, especially for small businesses who have to now do some customization and have to adopt technology to drive their business reporting. We look at costs of compliance in terms of how much they have to spend, then how they have definitely. So large corporates, SMEs, and informal sector, the gains is a more predictable tax regime and simplified compliance. We have now a unified tax code. So businesses now know what they have to pay. The issue of CGT, CITA, PITA, all those things have now been unified into one. The possible incentives for priority sectors, agriculture, we have incentives like zero-rated VAT, accelerated capital allowance for the agricultural sector. Then the manufacturing sector, we have investment allowance, tax exemptions, tax holidays. For technology, we have incentives for startups and preferential treatment for those who have rack center, data center, all enshrined in the new law. The pains for businesses and private sector, higher compliance costs, especially in the short term. And I've mentioned it, digital filing, e-invoicing will come with its cost. It will come with its cost. And then training and the cost of human capital development will also, the pressure will fall on all these businesses. I will go straight to citizens. The gains for citizens and household, better infrastructure, healthcare, and education if revenue is well utilized. Thank you very much. Okay. and greater equity as wealthier individuals and corporates contribute more. Then the pains for citizens and household, higher cost of goods, services due to VAT and indirect taxes, risk of reduced disposable income in the short term, the possible resistance if benefits of reforms are not visibly delivered. Okay, I have very little time, so I will go straight to the last slide. So what are the takeaway for the audience? Please, let's look at the key takeaway for the audience. Number one, to understand the impact, analyze how / opportunities. Then to develop robust internal control and compliance mechanisms. And number three, to engage in dialogue. That's to collaborate with policymakers and regulators for fair implementation. Number four, to adapt strategies, adjust business models to leverage incentives within the reforms. And finally, to commit to transparency and trust in the tax system for sustainable growth. Finally, fair taxation is not just about raising revenue. It is about building trust, ensuring equity, and creating a stable environment for growth. Thank you very much.
At least you have not been clapping for me. You can clap for my twin brother. If you are still part of the people that are expectant to give birth to a baby boy, just call them Sheson. One thing you can't take away, and he understood it. I'm sure if I have to give to some people, I'll be struggling. Thank you very much, my twin brother. Please, another round of applause for him. Please just pardon us. I think there seems to be punctuation in the sockets, and I don't want this one that we are going up and down. Sorry, am I being heard from the back? Okay, thank you very much. So we have come to the end of that technical session, but we want the chairman to just give us like a small reaction to some of these things. Then we'll take few questions. Pardon me, I will step down a bit because I need to attend to something urgently. But the chairman will give us a brief insight into this. Then we take few question and answer before we bring this program to a close. My chairman, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good afternoon, my professional colleague. For want of time again, I have to be very, very brief. I am told my time is 5 minutes, and in fact, I will not start. Yes, the paper, all encompassing. The topic, which is germane to the present situation that we find ourselves in the country now, rebuilding the economy through tax and fiscal policy reform. Dr. Fowokon, the small but mighty giant of our institute. Now we continue to praise for your courage, for you to. She has been able to demonstrate that she has delivered what she knows how to do best. Nigeria Tax had 212 pages. Nigeria Tax Administration had 89 pages. Nigeria Revenue Services at 30, and Nigeria Joint Revenue Board at 36 pages. 367, if I am not making mistake. He put it just very straight, concise, and give us what we want to know about that particular reform that is coming on board. So, fellow professional colleagues, it's up to you now all what she has been able to highlight in those brief summary of about 367 pages reform, where she has touched many areas. We will have the slide and we have the law already gazetted. I appeal to each and every, so please challenge yourself and live up to the billing of what is paper 2, which is raising the standard. That is the you die poor, it is your fault, Abi. Funcho Abida could be now extended. If you enter into this profession poor, it is not your fault. If you leave it poor, it is your fault. So that is what I want to. So because what we need to know and challenge ourselves is what our able Dr. Adepoju has been able to highlight and put it in a summary. What we need to challenge ourselves, and he said he is preparing to be at the other side where he will also be making this. I know. I jotted it. I said the man is already preparing, maybe preparing for what I am equally preparing for too. In that this. Thank you, doctor, for your coming to this. This will really benefit from your experience gathered together to get to the level you are now in the this. When you say audit, in fact, some people hear the name and run away and hide. But I keep on challenging tax administrator anywhere. The moment you are employed as a tax administrator, you are already a tax auditor. When you start examining record, you are already doing the job of auditor in that edition. So please prepare for the tax asset, especially my fellow colleagues that are in the profession as tax administrator. Then the Mr. Olucheson, another Olucheson in the house. We have Olucheson, a regular Olucheson that we have in the district. He said, there is no gain without pain. So even though doctor said, why are we talking about challenge when the thing has not been, and that is professional for you? You have to think ahead of a year ahead of time. I say, what if certain things behave this way? How are you going to go about it? And that is it. So it's the reform, the anticipated or potential, whatever name we may call it, has been highlighted also in the top paper that this is. And the essence of this thing, I want to put it to you that they highlighted collaboration, very, very vital. When all what is happening in the maritime now, the custom, this thing, where they are, I don't want to talk what they are doing there. So will be reflected in the other portal and that business. So we are getting there. If we are not there now, we have started. So professional, I am proud of you because the future will be great in your hand if we want to make it better. I thank you, all the 3 people presenter, that you have given us insight into what we should be getting ready to know and prepare ourselves for, whether we are from the background of accounting or this. But as Nigeria economy is, we need to challenge ourselves. And CITN has taken up the gauntlet. We are there and we'll be ready for the economy. Thank you very much.
I'm very sure that clap is for me. But if it is for the council member, now give a council member clap to a council member. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you once again, our council member. I mean, you know, when council members speak, I mean, it's like they are taking relief from you. I mean, that is it. So once again, we want to say thank you, sir. I am not holding the microphone as chairson, you know. I am going to conclude it without having to end a query. The next session we're going to be having now is question and answer. Dr. Titi, if you had done so, we would not have expected you to have done anything less than you have done. So for some of us, your delivery has not been a surprise to us because it is natural. It is typical. But once again, we want to say thank you, man. Dr. Adepoju, I mean, as an administrator, you are just talking as if you are eating bread and tea, you know, without any stress. Thank you once again for the honor. And Dr. Annie, you know, ably represented. That was superlative. Thank you so much. So we're going to be taking questions, maybe a few questions from the floor, 2 from the floor, you know, 2 from the space. And I have one that somebody has sent to me specifically meant for Dr. Adepoju. Maybe while we are waiting for, is anybody online? Clement, right? If there's Clement there, please, if you want to unmute and ask your question, please go ahead and unmute. Then you can ask your question. Clement, are you there? PC Clement?
Yes, I'm there. Am I on now?
Please go ahead. Please
Am
go
I
ahead.
on now? Okay.
We can hear you.
Okay. I want to thank all the paper presenters and all that have been said. It's a great one. But my major challenge in terms of looking at our economy and looking at the tax bill that tax act that's been passed and will be effective in January. Looking at our economy, soaring inflation in our country, standard of living very poor, and then we look at interest rates at 27%. You look at it that many businesses, they are passing through a lot if interest rate is 27%. If you compare it with other African countries, if you look at Kenya, Kenya is just about 9%, and look at other places where they have lower interest rate. And then we're talking about how we can generate tax from CIT, from company and the rest.
Yes. What's your question around the interest rate? Just go straight to the point, sir.
My question is, with all the reform that has taken place now, the inflation, you see the inflation now. What are we looking at? If
how is it going to address inflation, right?
Yes, inflation is high.
Okay.
And causes of
that's it.
commodity high in the market. So
thank you very much. That question is taken.
Okay.
Yes. Simply, how is the reform or the tax law going to address inflationary trend? That is taken. Thank you very much, Mr. Clement. Who is the other person online? That's the only one. Do we have anybody here on the floor? Okay, sir. Please come around and take the mic and ask your question. So before I read out the one I have in my phone, meant specifically for Dr. Adepoju. Your name, your membership number, sir.
All right, my name is Udogu Sunday. Membership number 22794. So I will just put the question in form of summary. Number one, is it that in these new tax laws that we just established, that there is no provision to mandate the federal government and state government to also publish their accounts, either monthly or quarterly basis, for people to also know how they are accounting for this money, instead of expecting people to be asking the governor that we may not be able to access easily.
That's question one.
That's question one. Then question number two, what happens from 2026 if the state governments, the way we know them in the past, started introducing some form of levies, all in the name of IGRO that may be coming? Because I didn't see anywhere in the act that specifically states that they should not come up with other form of IGRO in addition to this.
All right, sir.
Then for the e-invoicing that is introduced, which is digitalizing the way to collect revenue from the taxpayers. In the oil and gas, they don't normally assess them with the price on the invoice. With the price on the invoice, is usually assessed on the basis of fiscal price, which is a price that is determined by the government in their revenue recognition. So, but there is no special provision. So is there a reason why there is no special provision for them in the invoicing for the oil and gas to say, okay, if you bring in your invoices with maybe the invoice price, then later, then you cannot go back, because at the end of the day, they may come up with all sorts of penalties that may come in for non-compliance. Meanwhile, it's not the fault of them.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Please round up in 30
I'm
seconds. Sir.
yes, okay,
Manager,
I'm rounding up.
30 seconds, sir.
Yes, I'm rounding
Maximum.
up. I'm rounding up. So in digitalization that we talk about, we have already started seeing the implementation with FROS, how they are going about it. So now we are digitalizing the government revenue. Why are we not digitalizing the government expenditures?
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Then lastly,
okay.
it's just this one is just from my understanding. Also,
your 30 seconds have gone.
We talk about the effective rate. That pay the effective rate. This is the last one. Right. This is the last one. We talk about the effective rate of 50%.
Yes.
So let's assume that after my revenue and the allowable expenses, other things, my effective rate is 30%. That is for this year. Am I expected to pay additional 2% to make it up to that 50%? If the answer is yes, if in the second year, my effective tax is around 80%, will I have the opportunity of getting that 2% that I paid extra? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I think he qualifies to be admitted as a member of the House of Representatives because he has actually represented everybody. All the questions that ordinarily should have been asked from this floor, I want to believe that he has asked the questions. Yes. Okay, maybe maximum of 2 and one question. So, yes, sir, and yes, sir. Then my chairman. Okay. Okay, my vice chairman. Okay, yeah. There are 2 people. After the 2, I read this, then I'll give so either of our speakers can respond, to those questions as raised.
Okay. Good afternoon, professional colleagues.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Oladimeji Alade.
You're welcome, sir.
Membership number 30549. My question center on rent relief allowance. When we look at the act, say that for an employee to claim that allowance, he must be so evident that he's paying a rent payment. Now, there's issue, yes, if I live in my house, personal residence, I say there's no allowance. But the situation whereby I incur a major repair on that building,
yes,
will I be able to claim a relief for that?
Okay.
Since it's also an expenses I incur on that personal residence.
All right, sir. That is well noted, and the speakers are going to speak to it. So I think at this juncture, I can read. Oh, okay. Okay. The last person. So that I can read this question. Any of the speakers can respond to any of the questions.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Very short.
And membership number 27705.
Okay, you're welcome.
So my question is this e-invoicing.
Yes.
The technical aspects.
Yes.
How are we going to go about it?
How are we going to go about the technical aspects?
Please.
All right.
You can organize something so that we'll have something to tell our clients.
Okay.
Thank
Be comfortably seated. You can be sure that our speakers will do justice to it. Now, the last question here, which I'm reading, is addressed specifically to Dr. Adepoju. As a senior officer at direct, they know Dr. Adepoju very, very well. At directorates in FRS, how do you convince a taxpayer who has over $500 million in unutilized withholding tax credit notes representing cash in the hand of FRS without interest to taxpayer, and FIRS is quote unquote harassing taxpayer on interest and penalty of just 3 million, 5 million, and 10 million, that our laws are fair on taxpayers? That's the question. So I think at this juncture, okay, Dr. Foucault can start off. Yes.
Thank you. I was wondering why Mr. Adepoju said I should start. Would have started from that last question because I'm also interested in hearing his answer. Thank you very much. I think I want to appreciate all the questions because I had to take pain to note them as they're going on. I know the first question from Mr. Clement is on inflation and the tax reform. We need to understand that inflation is under monetary policy, and the tax reform comes under fiscal policy. The two are used by government to regulate the economy, but what determines each is not the same base, though the element of one can influence the performance of the other. The tax reform is actually focused at revenue generation, making life of the less privileged better, closing loopholes, and ensuring that there are no leakages, and also enforcing transparency and accountability. Now, when we come to the issue of inflation, inflation has so many factors. We have things around insecurity that is affecting food supply. And the determinant of our inflation rate is our food basket is also there. So to address the issue of inflation, so many other economic activities need to come into play, like government looking into the insecurity. People cannot go to farm, so they can't have enough food. And if you don't have food on your table, then the beginning of the problem. I know we had issues around the fuel subsidy, and then we are saying, let's migrate to gas. There are a lot of issues in the economy. I want to, not that I'm saying government cannot do better, but I still want to give it to the current administration. For somebody to boldly open mouth and say subsidy is gone, and other people have covered their mouth to say subsidy will go. Covered, I didn't say open, no, they covered their mouth to say it will go, and it never went. And despite the fact that subsidy is gone, trying to look for other avenues to address it, I give it to the current president. He's bold and is really pushing hard. But other things that comes around, I want us to know that even the issue of insecurity, I can't blame the president. I'll take it from me and you. The people that are causing this insecurity, are they not people within our vicinity? Now, they will say hunger. If everybody say because of hunger, we want to go on the streets and start beating up each other, would that solve the problem? Now, if the state governments who are supposed to help at the state level are collecting allocation and are not, I want to give it to Borno State Governor any day, anytime. He has shown leadership. And if we have all governors doing like that, we'll be better off for it. So a lot of things has to do. Now, coming to the economic side, it's not that because I worked with Dangote, I'm saying this, but I want to tell you, if we have a 5 Dangote in this country, I believe things will get better. Somebody that would take the bull by the horn and say, my target is to meet the need of the people. The price of fuel is now relatively the way it is because somebody is forcing NNPC not to lie to us. So we need to be bold in some of these things. And the question about challenging governments, as opportunity to be, my being in Kuru is an opportunity for us to ask government questions. I have a mix of civil servants, military, civilian, we are all there. But everybody, all of us are saying there's problem. None of us is able to say what is the solution. So we were all given a task to go and look for the solution as think tanks for the country. So there's a lot to be done. I think we are not getting our economic analysis right. And until when we know the roots, we may not be able to get there. We are doing trial and error. So the issue of inflation is actually trying to know what it is that we need to do. If we solve the problem of insecurity, problem of power, because we need to make people productive. Our youths are now close. And they have to do a lot. Sorry, I need to use that. That's the way they call it. We all know what it means. Colorado. So a lot is happening, but they can be engaged. I will tell you my little experience in going to I've been going to the free zone since last week, and I saw what is there. That's an opportunity for government to look at what can they create as productive avenue for these youths. A lot of them are into IT. Instead of doing Yahoo, create an IT hub, put them there, let them sit down, think, how can Nigeria get better using this technology that we're talking about? These are things that government can do. So the government advisors have not done well. Or maybe they don't know the solution, but let me say they've not really done well. They can do better. So that's it on that. In terms of publishing of accounts, ordinarily, it is what we don't need to compel anybody. That's where we have accountant general, auditor general, and some of us here, we work in those offices. So how do we get to be accountable? I'm sure a civil servant will say, I am directed. So if you are not directed, you cannot say anything. So that's where our problem is. Until when we stop being directed and we can take initiative on our own, we might not get there. But I think it's something that should be done. We need to get accountability. And anytime we talk about tax, sustainable tax collection, then we should talk about accountability. E-invoicing for oil and gas will be a bit different because they're in a separate industry. Even at the time the tax was changed and the template for oil and gas was renewed, it took time for even FIRS to align with OPTS. They were going back and forth because we have different types of concession. We have the profit share, production sharing, we have the JV. So these are not something you can say one size fits all. But I believe that let's even try this one we know, manufacturing, and see how it works before we start talking about the oil and gas. So we are not putting too much in our basket. Then in terms of, I've mentioned that digitalizing government expenditure, I'll leave that one to those who work with government. But we will get there. It takes a government that has the willpower to change things. I want to let you know that the coastal road that we are seeing in Lekki has been planned by Asiwaju since 2006 and is executing it in 2025. When I got there and they were telling me about how Lekki Free Zone came up, and they showed me that map, and I looked and I said, 2000. So it means that there's a foresight. He's a man of vision and he's pursuing it. So I want to believe that when we keep being positive, I always tell people that if you go to other countries, all this one we are saying, ask people that live in UK. I was on a meeting with our UK district, and all of them kept on telling me it's not easy. And I said, so why am I going to leave Nigeria to come here if it's not easy over there? You understand? And they were even telling us that we are finding it easier in Nigeria than them, and we are complaining. So I think when you get to another man's farmland, you will say, thank God for my papa's farm. That's what I will say on that. Then the ETR. Now, ETR comes up when a company belongs to a group, a multinational group. It's not just any company. When you look at a multinational group, whether they are subsidiaries in Nigeria, everywhere, and you look at the group turnover, 750 million euros, that's the threshold. Now, when you do the 50, let's say you have 12%, then the top up will be 2%. That's what that implication is, pillar 2. It's a bit technical, but I want to believe that the Institute will also arrange another session. I know we've done series of sessions on TP and all this, but there's need for us to continue since it's coming into our law now. Where you have less than 15%, you don't have to pay additional. The one you've paid before, OT law, you know. It's because tax is annual. You can't do an offset. It's last year's revenue and it's gone with the previous year. I think e-invoicing request for the technical aspect. CI10 has been doing a lot of trainings. I want to believe that the new training plan for the year, either this year or next year, I would also put this in because e-invoicing is coming. I'm not sure it's in this year's training plan that will finish in October or so. But we will put it up as another set of training because the sessions we are having on the Nigerian Tax Act will not finish. it will continue. All of us will still have to learn. So invoicing is on its own. In some other platform where I belong, I've actually taken it as one of the trainings that people will run. And my office, before I left, I said, don't mind me, I'm not there on ground now. They also ran it internally. So let's key into google.com. A lot of times we don't use it. You know, when I say google.com, you know what I mean. There are a lot of things there that you can get some personal trainings. But as CITN, I will speak to the education chairman to see how we can bring this on board so that everybody understands. But if it's going to be a special training, we can look into that. And I'll leave Mr. Adekpoju to answer. What do we do with this? Okay, personal relief allowance on rent. Now, in terms, I'm not, like I said it, I'm not so versatile with the new law. I'm also learning, like all of us are learning. But I believe that under the old law, when you have to incur expenses on your own, you want to claim your relief, you file your return. A lot of us don't file returns properly because expenses, for instance, capital allowance can be qualified on any property that you're also paying tax on the income. You should be able to file it. But I don't know what the new form will look like now because with the change in the law, Mr. Abidakon, they are the people. They will tell us whether they change the form or what do we need to claim. So I believe that if you incur expenses on an apartment and that expense is for you to have shelter on your head, it should not be worse off than somebody who is paying rent. So I want to believe the implementation will take care of that. Let me hand over to Dr. Adekpoju to answer. This is his jurisdiction.
Thank you very much, Dr. Titi. Yes.
Thank you, ma. Madam, I've made the job lesser for both of us on this side. Madam, I've answered all the questions, apart from the one they said directly to Dr. Adekpoju. I will speak to it quickly. Unutilized credit note and harassment for small change. Interesting. We should be aware that as far as the FRA is concerned, there are two modules of taxes in the system. Transaction taxes, these are the VAT and withholding tax. Transaction taxes, it occur as transaction is happening. That's why we call them transaction taxes. The annual taxes, the CITN. Oh, sorry, the CIT. Now, for your CIT, withholding tax you are talking about that you have with us, that's advance payment of income tax. Now, you can, as far as the system is concerned, after audit or for your self-assessment, no interest and penalty is generated because the money is with us. But I need to say this clearly. But when you have liability from transactional taxes, that's VAT and withholding tax that you are expected to deduct from your supplier, then FRS will still ask you for those money. They are distinct and different from each other. Transaction taxes is different from your annual return taxes. So for your VAT and withholding tax, FRS will call for that money. And if you didn't charge them, then interest and penalty will apply. That's the harassment he's talking about. However, I need to say this quickly. In the new law that is coming from January, your refund will be quicker and faster. It's mandated in that law. Within 90 days, everything must be refunded. So come forward. I understand because I'm in audit. Why most taxpayers, they have huge credit note are not coming forward. Good. The reason is if you don't have your record, if your record is not straight, you find it difficult to project and request and seek for refund. FRS has been paying. Julius Becker was paying over 7 billion. So many companies have been paying. They have been requesting and they have been paying. But from next year, like I said, the system will be more smoother, faster, and sharper. So if you have your document, taxation is about documentation. Don't let's not deceive ourselves. When we say compliance, we are asking for document. It's government money. You don't just go there and say, give me. And most of the structure, most of the arrangement that is up to company having credit notes, we consultants, professional, we have to start advising. Service company that is not having tripartite agreement, they have agreement with the offshore company, and the same taxpayer have agreement with Nigerian company. No, a tripartite agreement. All those credit notes does not belong to me, to the Nigerian middleman, middle taxpayer. Most time, they are doing business with offshore, one single contract, and another business with Nigerian company, another single contract. Now, when the Nigerian company is paying, is deducting the entire credit note from the middleman, Nigerian middleman, so resorting to huge credit. However, what we advise most time is, why don't you bring the two of them together, offshore you and Nigerian company, so that you can have tripartite agreement. When Nigerian company is deducting withholding tax, it will go to in the name of the offshore company, and the one that resemble your own commission or service charge will be deducted from your own. That's the reason they are not coming forward. We are not harassing people for not for useless credit note. Thank you very much. Madam said something. I want to add one word to it.
Yes.
I love doing research. I'm a research student. I was investigating relationship between tax and inflation, relationship between tax and money, real money. You know, when we have high inflation in Nigeria, it's government that is losing. So that's the area the madam did not ask. It's government that is losing. So the 100 naira of 2023 is far better than one. Okay, let me be mind. It's far better than 300 naira of 2025. Are you aware? You can see in the exchange rate, you can see what 100 naira they can buy and what you can buy now. So it's government that is losing more when there is high inflation rate. That's the relationship between tax and inflation in the government's hands. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. I just want to talk to what Dr. Fokon said about digitalizing government expenditure, because Madam has actually answered all the questions, and Dr. Adepoju really added to it. Now, two things I want to say. Number one, if you look at the intentions of the framers of this new law, there's going to be better transparency when it comes to reporting government expenditure, because the JRBA requires governments to report what is collected, the value of incentives given, and impact analysis. That's some transparency. Number two, we should also remember that certain government expenditures are sensitive. I won't say more than that.
Hello. Fellow colleague, let me just make a brief on the rent relief allowance that the question came up, and the Deputy Vice President said I should throw more light on it. Yes, the rent relief granted in the new tax law, tax act, is a relief granted to somebody that is paying rent. Look at it that person is giving income to someone. Government want to trace that income in the hand of the person that the tenant is giving and tax it, because it's already a tax expenditure to government. It's an opportunity that was forgone by government, that I want to help these people. I don't want to say poor people. If you don't have a house, you are a tenant. You now give income to someone, Mr. A to B. This income has in the past escaping the news of the tax dragnet, because they say for you to be able to deduct withholding tax, you must be operating the pay as you earn in our old tax law. So individual has not been able to deduct withholding and give to government for government to be able to trace that income. But now it came up, the government came up and said, you are paying rent and there is rent relief. Okay, it is an income in the hand of somebody. If we do not trace that income to the hand of that, how will government tax that person? A lot of people are making money through rent, and no withholding tax is deducted, because if you deduct as an individual in Nigeria here, the tenant will give you quick notice. All what you need to do when you are filling your form, your tax relief form, you supply the detail of whom you have given the income to. Tax authority will not go and say you are the one that say you. It is there clearly written. Your landlord, your district, how much money you pay. Tax authority will now, with the digitalization that is going on, it is now the prerogative, no, not even prerogative, it's the authority, obligation of the tax authority to now ask, please file your returns because this is a source of income. So you that is living in your own house, there is no income that is attached to your thing. The only thing you can prove if you repair, you carry out repair, you now pay money to somebody. Please let us have, we told something and give to government. Government will now know the source of your expenditure. But don't just sit down and say, oh, because I incur, because you have also given the money to somebody. So you can know that this country is going better, Abby. That is what they are doing, where we are running to in that district. So there is no complaint. Let us relax. We are going to track the income. Follow the money.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, let me not deny our vice chairman the privilege of asking his question. Sir, you asked that question. I will read out this and we'll close it. In another 10 minutes maximum, we should be getting out of this environment.
Thank you, my chairman.
Thank you,
of
sir.
this wonderful section.
Thank you.
Mama Tas raised to power 2 has already advised all of us. Professor Teju is number 1 and she is 2. So we recognize you, ma. I don't want to ask you a question because I don't want a situation where we get to the other house, you give me a knock on the head. So my question will center on to Dr. Adepoju, who happens to speak on racing standard driving impacts and subtitle the tax professional as a catalyst for change. I want to believe that 2 groups are here, at the administrators and the practitioners. So my question is just general. And the first one that goes to Dr. Adepoju says, how can tax professionals consistently uphold integrity where tax evasion or avoidance is common? Because some of us are on the field. We know what is happening. And that is my first question. The second one is, in what way can technology, we know that we are in the digital age now, that in what way can technology, AI, we are talking about AI, data analytics, and blockchain, in enhancing accuracy and efficiency in tax administration, especially those are in the rural environment or rural states. You know, some of us that always move from here and there, we know what we face. And another advice that I just want to ask or just to give is to the practitioners. Some of us that are engaging, especially in the state, the first Bible we need to ask, because of this new tax law that is coming up now, thank God, by January 2026, it will come to play. So the first Bible or Quran that we need to ask our client or whoever that we are soliciting or dealing with is the revenue administration law of that state. Because we have gone to a state, some of us that are interfacing with some people, they will begin to say, Shebi, everything is under joint tax board. But the first thing you need to ask is the revenue administration of that state so that you will know what is there. Because many states are amending their law now because of what is happening. I pray that God Almighty will help.
Thank you very much, sir. So let me take this last question that has been sent online from Achioya Anthony. Permit me, Achioya Anthony is asking, what are the potential challenges and risks associated with the tax reform and how will they be addressed? I will hand over the microphone, but I think I need to also mention now, for me, I think number one reason that I've seen, in fact, which is a major risk, I think there is a Latin phrase that says ignorantia is lost and not fit injuria. What does that mean? Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. I think a major exposure to risk, as far as we are concerned, is our inability to have knowledge of what we have in that place. The moment you are ignorant of what is there, you're already exposed to a risk. I am going to identify that as a major risk. On this note, I'm going to hand over the microphone to our speakers to do justice to the questions. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much, man. You are well respected and honored, man. Yes. Let me say it clearly. You can't insinuate our institute from the Nigerian society. How can we consistently uphold integrity? Our institute is a mirror of the society. The economic base of our member determines the level of their proficiency, integrity, and ethical standards they uphold. We can sit down here and continue to deceive ourselves from today till God knows when. In quotes, an impoverished tax professional, they have opportunity of managing books in an erroneous manner. We do to justify self. That's the mirror of the society. There is no sector of Nigerian society that is not the base. I don't want to use the word corruption. That is not the base. Well, we pray. That's why our institute, madam, is here. That's why we focus on our leadership. The focus is on leadership to do the right thing. We, the following them, will continue in their footsteps. Integrity is easy to pronounce. There is a quotation on the social media. So many things hidden in poverty. Until you get there, until you get power, that's we can't trust you with what you will do with it. You say, I will never do this. I will never do this. I will never do this. The day that God benefit, the favor of God smile on you. You start having cars, start having this. You that you say you will never carry women, you start pursuing small girl over that. So that's just an illustration, please. So integrity, yeah, is about the quotient of your pocket. It's about your ability. It's about your knowledge. It's about your principle. But that principle that can be debated. I watched one film that interests me lately. The film just came out, To Catch a Monkey. Go and look at that film. That guy would have been, if you have gotten a little or minute of substance, maybe he wouldn't have joined crime. But he joined crime because of poverty. May God help us. Sir, let's continue to speak to our children and ourselves. I went there. How can technology enhance accuracy? Obviously, yes. Like I said, the first thing first, we, professional. Knowledge is, you can't gamble with knowledge. You can trade knowledge for great things, but you can't gamble and mess around knowledge. Knowledge will always speak where ignorance is quiet. For us, let's be proficient in digitalization. Let's know what it entails. Yeah, we are not even talking about, he said rural taxpayer, or you are talking about small taxpayer. We first, we are the one that will assist them. It's part of our advisory services. Let's do it this way. Why don't you can start with Eze. We are not even talking about AI. For those ones, Eze, put your transaction like this, do it like this, do it like this. Because you know. If you don't know, can you say it? Can you advise? No first. We are addressing ourselves. When we talk about digitalization, we first, we professional first, understand it. We should not be like a whole generation of banks that went down because they refused to embrace change and technology. God help us. Finally, potential challenges in tax reform. Like I told you, the new laws simplify, elaborate how reform will be done quicker and faster. You know, the leader of that team is my fan forever. He's my teacher. Leader of the revenue committee, parted the tax law. All those ideas that we are all waiting for is there in the law. Yes, we should start reading. Let's start reading. Let's start preparing. To get reform now is going to be faster and quicker. And again, the burden of tax is no longer FRS. It's a different body. And they will adjudicate between authority and taxpayer. So the system is seamless and it will be faster, we hope, and it will be. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Okay. So let's Dr. cap it up.
Thank you very much. I think I would just share my experience briefly on each of the questions. The first one on how we can uphold integrity where tax evasion is prevalent. your personal values comes first. And you go through pain if you want to uphold integrity. And why did I say that? If you go by, if you can't beat them, you join them, both of you will go down. Because when they come calling, we'll be able to say, we did it together. So we'll not be absorbed. So the best is for us to have behavioral change against such things. This is one of the things, I think sometime last month, they had to put all of us that were on the course into the anti-corruption campaign team. And we had a session, 3-day session on behavioral change, because that's the only way we can move things around. And we have this challenge: who is more corrupt, private sector or public sector? It was a very, very big debate. And we were like, private will say it's public that encouraged me to give. Public will say it's private that offered that I collected. So both, so it's a matter of we need to go through behavioral change. As professionals, members of CITN, integrity comes first. Our core value is STEP, service, teamwork. What is the E? Excellence and professionalism. So if you're going to do all this, there's no way you won't speak out for integrity. So please, our integrity must speak for us anytime. It might be tough. I've had tax audits where I didn't even budge. I know the person looking at me is expecting something, and I'm telling the person, it's only if I cannot defend myself that I will come and beg. So let's make sure that we can defend our positions anytime we have to face this. Then in terms of AI and tech, even we ourselves, like Dr. Dikboju said, how many of us understand ChatGPT? There's now ChatGPT 2.0. So those who have not used 1.0 or 5.0, sorry, those who have not used 1, 2, 3, 4, there's no way they can use 5. And for your information, I've just seen that life can be easy with technology. Just pick any topic that you want to research and ask what you want, and it will give you every layout. Let me make a small confession. I was preparing the paper for this session, and I went and I said a paper on the topic, and it gave me the layout of my slides, everything. And I was like, if I deliver this, everybody will clap, but I'm not comfortable because it's not my brain. So if I get that, what I should do is to say, I will sit down, I will read it page by page and make sure that it speaks my mind. But a lot of times people will do garbage in, garbage. They will just duck. As they are reading it, somebody is checking online. And they are telling them this is where you got this from. And they did that for us in Kuru. They gave us assignment. We used ChatGPT. They reducted marks from us because we did not modify it. We just took it the way it is. And others that took it, they modify, they got big marks. So when you are copying, copy well. In terms of potential challenges, we have mentioned it here. We cannot overemphasize that all of us must go back to school. If you don't go back to school, we can't get it. Do you know that we don't even know the current tax laws? We don't know half of it. Some of us here have not read CIT from pali to pali. Have we? If you've read CIT from page to page before this new law, you see, so all of us are guilty. So the first major challenge is understanding the law. I went to start doing law because I know I want to face FIRS when they interpret the law. So I had to go and build my knowledge. So let's build our knowledge. Let's learn more. Currently, I'm studying French. Currently, I'm learning how to play golf because I felt I must add value to myself. Let's add value to ourselves and be better for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
My parting word, you will display another man's behavior when you have not had power or be in position of power. Let's take that.
Thank you so much. You can do better, please. A round of applause for Dr. Titi, Dr. Adikboju, Dr. Ani. It couldn't have been better. quite frankly, you want to agree with me that today has been loaded. Loaded with insight, loaded with education. They have ended up by admonishing us to do what? To upgrade. I've said this several times. If you are not loaded, you can never be needed. The moment you are not up to date, you become outdated. What that means is we need to sharpen our skills, learn, unlearn, and relearn. If you don't acquire every day, there is no way you can be what? You can be required. So food for thought. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think it's been a very fantastic week. Whatever has a beginning, definitely must have an end. I mean, if you look at the tempo now, it's like we should just continue, but time will never permit. At this juncture, I want to hand over the microphone to the number one tax person, as far as Ikeja is concerned, to come and officially, formally, wholeheartedly appreciate our distinguished, erudite, and seasoned speakers who have done remarkably well to add value as far as this task week seminar is concerned. My chairman, sir, please go ahead and appreciate our speakers before I hand over the microphone to the vice chairman to go and give a vote of thanks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, our annual task week planning committee chairman. I want to especially thank the 17th president of the institute, our own Mr. Innocent Ohagwa, a very good friend of our district. He told me that, but for other exigencies, he will have been here with us this morning to this afternoon. But of course, with us here and has been with us since our own Dr. Titi Fowokon. Thank you so much, madam. We appreciate the fact that not only did you come in good time, even before we set up this place, you had come and you've been with us up to 2 o'clock. When my people told me that Dr. Titi Fowokon had accepted to be the lead speaker, I immediately told them that, come guys, I hope you know she's currently in Jos and it might be difficult to get her to come. So eventually I placed a call to her myself and she assured me that, yes, it is tough for her to come, but because this period and this day particular, she will be on leave, some kind of vacation, she will be here with us. And of course, True to Type, she's been with us since morning. Our DVP and my own chairman and the Joint District Societies, thank you so much for your time. We love the insights you've given us. Our district appreciates you so much. And of course, we all know that if we have put together this event and we don't have people like Dr. Fowokon, Dr. Adepoju, and Dr. Ani ably represented to come and talk to us, it will have been a futile exercise. Like my planning committee chairman just said, it has been a wonderful moment for us since morning, and I'm sure we have all gained a lot. And many thanks again to Dr. Adepoju. When we also did our task week work, we visited your office and we took him down from his, I think, 3rd floor to come down and talk to us, even though he also had a little strain on his leg. You know, he promised us that he might not be able to come today because of that little injury that he had, but that he will try. And I had my chairman tell him that day that, come, Dr. Adepoju, you have to hear yourself. And we are very glad that in spite of that inconvenience, you took time to be with us. Thank you for your knowledge and for sharing your knowledge with us. Yes, our own Dr. Odunwayo Ani, a versatile member of our district, unfortunately, duty calls, and she couldn't make it to join us today. But of course, we missed her a bit, but we didn't miss her so much. Representing her, Mr. Sheson Fashakin had done very, very well. Thank you and convey our appreciation to Dr. Ani for releasing you, for you to come also impromptu like this, releasing you from your duties to also come here and talk to us. We appreciate that as well and said our kind regards to her. Yes, we have had this session. Like I said, if they didn't come, the session would not have been good. But of course, the fact that we also have our members seated to listen to our speakers is also very important. Otherwise, if they had come here and it had been an open, empty house, it wouldn't have encouraged them at all. And so on behalf of the district, I want to thank all our members for coming, for taking time to come to this session today. Not forgetting my chairman and council member, pardon me, my council, like we used to call him, Mr. Abidakun, an emeritus chairman of our district, who did so well that the institute at the national level identified him and also said he should come over. He's currently running the second term as a council member of the institute. Thank you so much for accepting to share this occasion, your experience to bear as well. We appreciate you a lot. Okay. And then, of course, we have our former chairman. I think I have two of them with us here. No, three. I've just mentioned Mr. Bidakun. Barrister Austin Ilo, thank you for being with us and for guiding us all the way. Barrister Shola Igbalajobi, thank you for always being there for us. Our elders, ably led today by Mr. Owo, thank you for coming around to support this program. Of course, this program that started about 3 days ago wouldn't have been possible, but for the support we got from our sponsors, we thank all of them. We listed some names there. There are quite some other names that couldn't come on time. But of course, to say thank you to all of them for the great effort they made. I will just admonish our members. For quite some time now, we've not been having this kind of physical interaction. Most of our meetings are online. To stay back, get to know ourselves a little more. So if after this session, you just spend like 5 minutes, 10 minutes to do what we call meet and greet, get to know somebody from the district today, that will be fine. So on that note, I want to say thank you to everyone for taking out time to come, and especially our DVP, our speakers, for your patience with us and being with us. Thank you very much.
Again, our distinguished district chairman, Mr. Abiodun, FCTI. I would call on my vice chairman, Mr. Bolaniwa, to do the icing of the cake by now, appreciating everyone, both here and online. So in other words, it's going to be undertaking an hybrid appreciation. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, my chairman. Firstly, let me appreciate my big ogas, because, you know, when you are in the midst of doctors, PhDs, you need to appreciate them. We cannot appreciate you enough, especially my mentors. Look at them. All of them are on the same role. I pray that God will continue to enlarge your knowledge and wisdom in taking this wonderful institute to the greater height. And all our, especially the planning committee, I appreciate all of you, even though I'm one of you, and we have done very well. If you are not here, there's no way we can put together. And all our people in LRS, Mr. K, you are there. I know what you are doing in LRS. Don't worry. Tomorrow will be better for you. And you will go to greater height. And all our members that are here, if you are not here, there's no way we can put this together. We appreciate you. And every one of us that travel all the way. I know some of people, there are some people here that travel. There are some people that are bereaved. And despite that pain, they are still here. My colleague is here. Dr. Alonge is here. I pray that God Almighty will continue to help us. And all our people outside there, the online people, I know they are there watching the live. And that is one of the benefits of AI. I know Nigeria, we are going there and we'll be there. So we appreciate all of you. We thank you for your time. We thank you for your contribution. Even some of them, they contributed to this, to the success of this program. And I pray that God Almighty will continue to help us. Ikeja is number one, as my chairman have said, and no other, another one. We don't know which of the districts, but we are there and will continue to be there. You know what happened in Abuja? Another one is coming in the month of April and May. We are going to take all the trophies down to Ikeja. So we promise you that. Ikeja and district. Yes, so we are meant to be a distinct people. Our elders, they are here. That the Ilesomi, there's nothing we do in the Ikeja and District Society that will not be part of the support. Eda Fagbulu is there, and the rest, Elijah was still at. Mama or boys, Mama Mama is there. We always recognize you, man. And every one of us that are here, the IPC is a great supporter of this district. I know what he did 2 days ago. And we are looking at when we come to your stage, we do more. I pray that God Almighty, as we are going back home, God Almighty will lead us straight. And some of the associated association and institute that are here, Anan is here, being well represented, ACFE is here, and we have a lot of ICANN, and we have all of them that are being represented, and they are still part of Ikeja and District Society of CITN. We appreciate all of you. And the last but not the least, I will appreciate my chairman of the planning committee. He's even right here with the dearest wife. When I saw Madam, I said, oh, you are doing a great job. Mama, please, can you just stand up so that we record? Next time we'll see you, we know that you are part of us. So, Madam, you are welcome. God will continue to help you. Thank you, my chairman, for giving me this.
Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate the privilege. In fact, when my chairman called me, he called me and presented this chairmanship position to me without an option to reject. He was so convinced 100% that I was going to reject it, but he said, don't go there. We have taken the decision that you're going to be the chairman of the planning committee. And I want to appreciate you, sir, for putting that confidence in me. I have nothing to offer, so to speak, but grace has made it possible. And I know this annual tax week has been undoubtedly a huge success. I have no doubt that by the grace of God, when another one is going to take place, this is going to be the minimum standard. And I know next year, God will spare our lives. I will end up with this. All of us, we are going to rise up with the permission of my chairman. And we're going to sing together this song. God be with you till we meet again. By his counsel's guide uphold you. With his sheep in love enfold you. God be with you till we meet again. Till we meet again. Till we meet again. Till we meet another tax week next year. Till we meet again. Till we meet again. God be with you till we meet again. Still, officially, hallelujah. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right, sir. Okay, sir. So, thank you so much. Officially, this program has come to an end. So it's time for interactions. You know, you can network and you can do all that you want to do. God bless you. Yes, I'm
His counsel's guide with his sheep securely fold. God be with you till we meet.
Some of us are people. Wow.